See, I gotta do something with all this. Look at that. God bless. Need to make a face frame for a speaker cabinet. And see, half of that. Pieces of mahogany. The straight pieces I'm gonna stack. The ones that go down to sphere, they're gone. Look at the top cover sheet. See, I gotta burn anything under 3 foot, man, I'm gonna end up having to burn it. Like all that down in there. There's a lot of stakes for short plants. See, look at this shit right here growing. I don't know what it is. It's got these little things right here all up and down. I think it might be a silver maple because it looks like a fucking maple branch. And there it is. I got to dig that son of a up. There's one right there. I can dig that one up. And dig that up. Look at all this shit. Yeah. Big old piece of push. Look at all that. Between that and what's under that, you can make a greenhouse. More to burn. A lot of straight mahogany. Squared off, nothing angled. More to burn. Anything short, I'm about to dig it out of here. I got to get this crap out of my garage. Carport. It's got to go. There's a chair in there, believe it or not, to sit in. Like all this shit. Alright, I'll use this up front. I'll use this too. Look, there's a scrap. This is the same, man. Nice maple. And it's under 3 foot. I gotta burn it. And I think it will look good to me. Somebody wanted some solid wood cabinet for a studio monitor, a little small bookshelf type. It'd be great, but get it all the fucking time, man. All I gotta do is tell him, hey, you got, oh yeah. He's got shit at his house he goddamn drag over here. Like those big pieces of oak. And I got about 4 or 5 inside, almost as big. I can get rid of that shit. My friend down the road, he works on trucks and cars and shit. He said, hey man, you gonna do that? I said, you want it? He said, yeah, I can use it. I said, well, come get it. He didn't never come got it. This shit fell off the lawnmower. Look at that. That goes around the muffler like a guard. And damn, crap just fell off. You know why it fell off? Because that whole fucking Troy belt was falling apart, man. It was. The whole fucking Troy belt falling apart. I gotta put this somewhere on, try to put it back on. If I put the mower back together, fuck. Fucking regular ass Troy belt. I think it's made in China. And it's the same goddamn lawnmower you can see on fucking Temu. Go look at that 140cc or 144cc. It's the same fucking lawnmower. It's got somebody else's name on it. And it's made the same way. I wouldn't buy one. Unless you know about it and you know that, hey, this might need to be checked and tightened or something, man, you know. I'm gonna go through that and have to burn all that. See what I do, I'll leave it overnight. If it's got a cup the next day, man, it's going in the burning pile. I don't want it anyway. I don't want nothing out of cup. You know, most of it will if you leave it out, but man, that's fucking that's some. I'm not sure in the dark. It's got the grain of oak. See, I can see that grain in there. That's oak. A little grain like that. Or is that poplar? Who knows? That might have been where a branch was off the trunk, and that's how that looks like that. And this is poplar. That's right. It is all poplar. Fucking light as hell. It's light as hell. Let's go look at that oak. Oh, here's something. This is cedar. It's thicker too. That's kind of heavy. All these pieces were in, like they cut it. They took a big piece. They take a trunk, or cut the trunk up into a big fucking, like big long cross ties. Then they cut off the cross ties, what they need. And see, these are, when they cut that big long piece they needed to length, this is what falls off the end. And they take that whole long piece like this and then cut it up into whatever boards they need. They figure it on paper too. They know how much they need, and they go back to the place is big. It's got a culling plate where they got all that cold wood like the mahoganies and the poplars and the oaks and the, what is that? Oh, it's a brown wood. What's it called? Walnut, dark walnut. And then what did I drag that back here already? Here's what they call. There's some in shit of reclaimed wood. A lot of this got thrown away because look at the rot that was in all the river, all the worm rot in that reclaimed piece. They about had the whole, you know. And this is what happened on the other end. See that? This piece was all cut, and they said in the end, by the time they cut up a whole bunch of this reclaimed to make something, this got to be a reject. Did not go anywhere. And then in the end, and then again on this end out, the end of this piece of wood out, and the end of that piece of wood out. That might have been good enough. That's what they needed anyway. And this is the trash. They tried to square it all up where they picked their length, picked their part. And it's oak, man. It's heavy. Bam! It felt rotted. It felt like you'd been out in the river or something. When I bang it, it feels like it's got a lot of moisture in it. See, I cut all the remaining sunflowers that I had down. But this is some kind of, it looks kind of like I have to cut, I'm going to have to dig it up. I let it go 2 years. It just popped up not last summer, but the summer before last. I didn't know what it was. I just know I needed it to grow. And look, see these right here? These are what the Mexican sunflowers that were here. That's just some dead seed fell off those way back about 35, 40 days ago is when as long as it takes to get that tall. It takes about 90 days to get to full height. The way the weather is, I'm out here in shorts, man. It's not even fucking 70 degrees, I don't think. 70 degrees would be kind of cold to me because I've been in the heat all summer. I got a place. I pretty much got rid of that one. I can burn again, but that stump's kind of gone. Over here, you can't see in the dark. I can't see in the dark. I gotta get my shovel. I can feel where the stump roots running. I can't see shit. I should make that fucking flood I got in the backyard out here. Get my shovel on it real fast. And build a fire. Start feeding it. Get rid of it. I hate, man, it hurts my heart because when I start throwing shit away, I say, oh, this is good, this is good, this is good. I will keep this from here. That's why I got all that shit. And I don't have the essential tools to do any hard goddamn thing to it. Look, let me show you something. My brother, dumbass, way back, he drug my saw out of my fucking shop over here. I told him, what are you doing with my saw, man? What I tell you about using another man's tool. You goddamn go grab up another man's tool, and then when he needs to use it, it's fucked up. And he had it back here, and the smart thing to do would have kept it in the house with this motherfucking neighborhood. And so I go to use it one day. It don't work. And I thought it was brushes. I took it apart where you change the brushes. I took the caps out. Can't seem to get the brush out. I had to pull that whole fucking assembly off to get the brushes out. But as I looked, it looked like it had brushes. And I know damn good and well, it's not the brushes. So it's got to be the switch. And I ordered new brushes and I ordered a new switch. But since I'm such a professional procrastinator, the switches are in there on the goddamn microwave. The switch and the brushes are in there on the microwave. And I'm too goddamn lazy to fucking come out here and clear around that motherfucker and put it back together. I tried to take it off the bench and bring it in the house. I couldn't pick that heavy motherfucker up no more. I'm just not fucking 45, 50 years old no more. And I could carry that motherfucker. Well, if I goddamn one day had it all clear and everything and got it all right, I'll pick that motherfucker. I'm the one that fucking bought the motherfucker. Anyway, so that's the fucking hold up. My friend Matt gave me a little old bitty one. It's buried out there in the carport. That's a little old bitty one. It's got like a 5.5-inch blade or something. Or it's an 8-inch blade, but it's called a 5-inch chop saw. It's almost like a skill saw, but it's a little chop saw. And I have used it a couple times. And it had that automatic safety that when you lower it down, it pulls the guard away from the blade with springs and cast levers or cast bell cranks. And it had springs on it. And that shit would get jammed like it wouldn't go down. It wouldn't go down. It wouldn't go down. Then it'd get jammed. It wouldn't come up. It wouldn't come up. It wouldn't come up. And it was holding up progress, and I'd fuck with it. And eventually I broke that motherfucker. And finally took it apart one day and got the broke cast. I said, well, I'll see if I can fix this. Took it apart. Yeah, that's what I thought. Fucking cast piece. That's what I said before I even put a screwdriver. I thought, man, motherfucker's probably got a cast piece in it. And I'm not going to be able to do nothing. There's no way I can machine. And my shop back at my mom's house, I goddamn could have machined a fucking part. No problem. Had the scrap to do it with and the fucking tooling to do it with. That's what pisses me off. Hey, man. Let me set this here. Please not be too rude. Damn, that ain't a view of shit. Probably fall over. I mean, where is my dog? Jackie ran off. No, here, you want to come outside? Jackie, you want to come outside? Come outside. Come on, Jackie, come outside. But you go down the street. You better quit chewing yourself. Okay. Next. I need to get these out of here. I need to get all that in the fire. I need to get a shovel over there in the dark. It sucks. All day long, man. It's just a sick. Been sick for the last, every time I fucking got addicted to a channel on the goddamn YouTube, man, and it's like it wasn't nothing but fucking negative shit. No goddamn positive outcome out of any of it. I had to get away from it, man. I just survived a goddamn fucking 8-year, 9-year mental illness battle. Motherfuckers trying to drive me crazy. I don't want no part of nobody's fucking mentally ill. You fucking do other people that way, you goddamn try to drive them crazy. Fuck that. You goddamn ain't got nothing in life. You're not good for yourself or nobody else. Okay, now, Jackie, are you doing good? Oh, shut up, Frankie. Shut up. Frankie, shut up. Stupid dog. It's a fucking bloodhound. It's a cast out in the backyard fucking hunting dog, like female. And it fucking, well, I know what it does every time. It sits there basing. Well, shut up. They must have inside somebody told her shut up. That's what I think. She will mind me sometimes. I tell her, Frankie, shut up. She'll shut up, but a lot of times, no, she just barks more. She wants attention. She don't get no attention. And she's in there with another dog, another girl, I guess, Charlie. There's another girl dog in there. And Charlie knows how to jump that fucking fence. And, you know, that dog's never jumped the fence. That dog's even taller than Charlie. And sometimes when I see Charlie, I tell Charlie, come on, Charlie, jump the fence. She knows how. So I tell her, jump the fence, Charlie. You know how. Come on. Come see me. She won't do it. It has been 1 or 2 occasions when she was on this side of the fence, and she happened to come over here, and I called her up, and I did get to pet her. She's a good dog. She says, nobody's ever spent any time with any of them fucking dogs. They're goddamn, you know, they're castaway. I call them castaways. They stay in the backyard. Charlie's been in that backyard for years. That girl, though, I talked to her one day. I said, you need to let that dog come over here for about 2 weeks. I'll have that dog trained. And no. She said it's scared to go in the house, is what she told me. She said, I can't get it to even come in my house. It was scared to come in the door. What you do is you sit by that door and fucking use treats. And you show her everything's all fun by the door. It's okay, everything's all fun by the door. You know? And show her the food bowl with some fucking canned food. Let her see and set it inside. Far enough that she's not going to go in there to it till she feels safe. Anyway, so if she goes in there to it, far enough away you can shut the door. And then tell her it's okay. And have a bed right there. When they eat, they want to lay down and curl up in the pack, you know, like the pack, and go to sleep. They eat and they feel good. I'm ready to get some sleep. That's a dog's life, really. Cat too. A cat will overeat and throw up, and we eat more. That cat, he just turned 21 weeks old. This sparrow motherfucker, he bites the shit. He draws blood. See, here's what was happening. Like about within the last, ever since I got that damn cat, he got kind of started getting big from being a little bitty. I got him at 6 weeks, 7 weeks. By the time he was 9 weeks old or 10 weeks old, he was already doing like you just see right now, running up. Don't you go on that street. So I put him out early in the morning. I go to sleep. I'll wake back up and come out here. And I woke up wondering why all my Mexican sunflowers are bent over. Not all of them, but quite a few of them. They were just fine. And now they're all busted over. Did the wind blow? Well, it didn't blow that one over. And it didn't blow that one over. And why are these over here blown over? And these down here aren't blown over. And I finally figured it out. I walked out the carport one day. He's outside. And just as soon as I went out the carport door, he came flying across the car out here on the driveway, back up close to the house. I just opened the door as soon as I looked out and started to take a step. He's flying in the air. He's about 4 foot off the fucking driveway. Had one arm up. He looked like he's doing a layup, basketball layup. He's out here getting the butterflies. And I had to get onto him, man, because last year I had quite a few orange butterflies. They weren't not monarchs. I hadn't seen monarchs in years. And then my friend Matt told me he was at the gas station, at the grocery store. And this old lady cut in front of somebody on the checkout. I told that man, excuse me, sir, did my crazy wife cut in front of you? Oh, no, it's okay, y'all go ahead. He's like, no, sir, we're going to move out of here. Woman? Yeah. Let this man have his place. You cut him off. Matt's straight up. He's a McKinnon. He's a Mac. He got honor. He got faith. And that man said, I'm in a good mood today. I've been raising in a sanctuary at my house a whole bunch of baby monarch butterflies. I let them go today. And Matt told me, like, it was probably a week after the man let them go. I see, where's Matt? Matt lives over by Captain Shreve up in off Captain Shreve Drive, over close to Red River. Matt's a hop skipping it. Man's like within a mile. You walk from his house to Jimmy Davis Bridge, or you go through. He's right on the edge of Dixie Garden, and Dixie Garden's right up there by Jimmy Davis Bridge. Man, a week later is when Matt came over, he told me about that at the grocery store where the man released the monarch butterflies. And it was a week later, man, I had 4 out here on my flowers. And then he come over a week after that, and he was here while it was daylight. I said, look, Matt, I told you I had some monarchs. I said, the other day I had 4. I said, that's unusual. I hadn't seen no monarchs since I was a kid. Like maybe not this last summer, but the summer last, when I started this bed. This is a 2-season bed right now. It ain't worth a fuck. I might have seen 1 monarch. I had all them other kind. They're called an orange something else. They're orange. They're not as big, but I did see 4 at one time. 1 or 2 that I saw looked like they had some big curly black antennas on them. I kind of never seen that before. I got to thinking, man, don't tell me them's females. I don't know. I don't know nothing about them, but I knew they were monarchs when I saw them because they're bigger. And I used to see groves of monarchs when I was 4 or 5 years old around spring or whenever. It's probably springtime after winter. The monarchs would be coming back from, I guess, South America. I used to see, you couldn't count them in the yard when I was like 4 or 5 years old when they come through. Oh, on your windshields, driving, people, you get bows on. Oh, God, everybody had damn butterflies on the windshields. You don't see, I hadn't seen it in years, all through my junior high and high school and since. Like I could tell even until now, like what have I seen in the last year? 5? That's fucking strange. I'm going around in circles talking to the phone. I wish I could make it where everybody talk. Hey, I'm sorry. I wasn't even looking at it. Hey man, who is all this? Owen? And Owen 741. Hey Colby. Wow, oh my God. I got some people from over at Andy's channel. Y'all gonna make Andy mad. He's gonna call every one of y'all traitors for coming over here. Hey, he's a traitor. No, I unsub, man. I can't take it no more. I had to get out of it, man. That shit's nonsense. That's retarded. It's fucking stupid. I would advise any and everybody that's having problems like that to go see a doctor because they can fucking help you identify where you lie. That's like any fucking doctor. They don't know, but okay, let me see what this does and let me see what that does, and then we'll try this and see how it happens. Well, when you go to the fucking head shrink, they might give you some help identifying what your problem is. Then you can fucking, at least you've identified it. You know, hey, this act right here is crazy. Do I want to straighten myself out and not be crazy, or is this how I want to act? Well, no, I don't want to act goddamn crazy. Hell no. I've already went through it around many of people that I've got severe anxiety disorders because of having to deal with motherfuckers like that. You know, the goddamn Irish half makes me want to take a sword, cut your motherfucking head off. That's the worst half of me. And the McIntyre half is the motherfucking high conviction with at least some fucking intelligence. All right, look, check this out. I burned this the other night. It's hard to see in the dark. You dumbass, we can't see in the dark, you dumbass. There's a big old long ditch here, a hugelkultur ditch I dug that I needed to go and put some debris in. And I said, fuck it, I'll just burn wood in it. Right here's another hugelkultur. It's got grass clippings all on top of it. I was going to plant watermelon all along here, and when I had watermelon seed, and I asked for Dodd down at the store. He's my Muslim people that run my corner store, my family. Like this is, if they weren't there, man, and that store wasn't open, I wouldn't have fucking shit, you know? Goddamn, I'd have to go fucking 3 miles to the nearest fucking store, and damn. I said, what if you was going to grow something to eat? What would you grow? I said, tomatoes. He told me watermelon, Hadley, cantaloupe. He said over in Pakistan. He said cantaloupe. Everybody eats cantaloupe a lot. It's good. Everybody likes cantaloupe. Everybody likes cantaloupe. So I bought a bunch of cantaloupe seeds, and I bought a bunch of watermelon seed. And I was going to go along here, along this fence. I never got to it. I've been working on this bed since I started beds. All through the spring I had rain or something else got in the way, and I put it off, and the weather was not right, and I put it off. It was too hot, or I was sick. I get sick eating out of the fucking Family Dollar store. You know, I wouldn't buy no frozen goods, no pizza or shit out of there, man. Every time I ever gambled and I ate some of that shit, I got food poisoning. And it's because when the fucking electricity goes off, that shit thaws out. And all those ingredients on those pizzas, first of all, that dough and the sauce is not good for you, full of chemicals. Any kind of fucking processed flours is not good for you. And then that shit's about half rotted when they put it on the pizza at the factory. Then it sat up there at Family Dollar, which if you go in your Family Dollar, you might can look. And I can go in this one down here and look. I'll show you. It's packed full of that shit. Full of fucking pizzas and all kind of shit. Like 4 or 5 different brands. And then that fucking electricity goes off, that shit melts. And then it starts rotting again. Then they freeze it back up when the electricity comes back on and sell it to you. And I see the reason why I know food poisoning, because I did some time when I was a juvenile, and I got food poisoning when I was there. And then when I got sick out of that Family Dollar, 4 or 5 shit. In the last 10 years, I done got shit I can't count, at least 9 times. I remember like within 2 years, it was 4 or 5 times a year, man. It was my mistake, because I tell myself, well, I'm not going to eat that, and then I'm going in there trying to buy some groceries, and they ain't got nothing to get out of there. I mean, my milk, I like the milk they sell there. I'm a whole milk drinker. Like me and Andy get along on that. I'd show you, well, how many gallons we need, Andy? You say, just grab 2, I grab 3. How much chocolate milk do you want? Because I like the chocolate too. Said they ain't got but half gallons, and I had to buy 2 to match a gallon. So look, check it out. I'm up there on roller skates, and I got a gallon, and then I got 2 half gallons. Let's see, how about a couple cans of tuna, a couple cans of chili, or canned chicken, and then I buy those like Nissan Oriental noodles. They got a little flavor packet with all the sauce in it, soy sauce and oils and whatever that crap is. And I'll put some of that chicken on there. Normally, if I could get to a grocery store, like a Walmart, I have a chicken that I buy at Walmart. and I'll eat that. I'm gonna dump this shit out and start burning. I need to not quit fucking off. Quit fucking off. And dump this shit and burn it, Hadley. I might get lucky and find some coals still in it. See, I didn't want to burn shit like that stick right there. Damn near 3 foot. That'd be a steak. And if I had something young in the beginning of the season that I'd go and put in the ground, I'd use a bunch of stakes to help put something as a cover over it. I'll have it established in the ground. I don't have to worry about it getting killed if the hard rain comes early. See, look what I'm talking about, man. If you needed if you were going to build something, hell, I don't know, it would make a small cabinet. You can make a fucking stereo speaker. That's long, you know, they match, and a table saw cut things right down there. I want it, what, 2 by 3 or whatever. Here we go again. Like these big ones. Close enough to be in the same size. We'll go up here. See how far I can drag this light. Man, I got wood under there. And a bunch of fucking... Somebody was moving, and they had a trailer in their backyard, and they were getting rid of the trailer, and they had a shit load of chain link fence, galvanized fence and poles that had been dug up, and rolls of fence. Some of it was the fucked up pieces I got from next door when they left us with their dog. They had a bunch of fucked up shit from their dog. You see all those branches in this tree? Fuck, I just cut all that shit not too long ago, man. That's what grew right back after I cut it. The goddamn motherfucking so-called arborists come in. We gotta clear the lanes. Can we have permission to cut your property? It's a bunch of Spanish guys. And you know, the first time they ever came, let me move my hand. The first time they ever came is I told them, I said, well, I was going to go up there and cut it myself. I said, I got about 5 places that I know if I cut it, I won't have no more problems. And I showed him where they were. And I said, yeah, don't cut nothing else, just cut that, man, and it shouldn't be no problem. I said, but whatever you do, don't cut it up next to the trunk. Just what them motherfuckers did. Look, you wouldn't have all that sprout like that if it was cut up next to the trunk, you know. I told him, leave it out so far, you know, just enough to clear. I said, anything tries to grow around, yeah. And at one time I did climb all the way up into where you see where the canopy is up there. Well, I can't reach that no more. I'm not gonna, I was bear hugging back. Kelly's had this house for 20 years. So I was back fucking 40-something years old last time I climbed up there. Look at that branch, and it goes over, and then that tree right there, they almost would touch. It would be cool if I could get to it and just go ahead and pull them together and tie them up with a rope where they touch each other and start growing into each other. This is for next year, man. Look, y'all, I may die and I may never get to it and whoever, but then if I establish them, then when I do die, if somebody comes out here behind me, that lives here, and they're smart, they'll say, hey, this guy had a garden here, let's kill it and plant. I would. If I moved in, see, there's another one. If I moved in and somebody else had established beds, well, I like the agriculture shit. I like the flower. Well, see, the bees depend on the flowers, so I like to put the flowers for the bees. And then in the long run, it's supposed to help us all. That's the only reason I do it. If it was up to me, every goddamn railroad running across America would fucking spray seed out on the fucking side. And then fucking flower seeds all the way down the side of every fucking railroad track. Ain't nothing but weeds anyway. You know, you got, I don't know who, the forestry would be in charge of something like that. Not necessarily in charge of railroad, but in charge of fucking doing it. They're the ones that would provide the seed, the money. That's what their job is. See, look, man, goddamn, you see all that? Those are all, they're, fuck. You see my finger? They look like close to under 1, like 7/8 by, or maybe they're 3/4. They were, some of them were like 1 by. I don't have a rule on me. So there's another one. See, I threw all this in here. I started pulling these out of the back of the truck, and I said, hold on. I went and got this blue trash can, and I started digging through and making sure I threw all them pieces into here. See, if I really had a table saw, all I need now is an air hose and a table saw. I got that, and get that chop saw back running. I could build people's speaker cabinets. Look at all that. It's all maple. This is maple. I mean, it wasn't much of an oak run today. Had some long pieces of oak, long drops. But I've got some oak hard. Where is it? None back here. Oak would be even heavier than the maple. Man, sometimes when I start digging through this scrap, I run across, it looks curly. It's not curly maple. They make that, I think. It's not really striped. Well, yeah, I guess you could say it's kind of like a tiger stripe, but it's not real tight lines. They're kind of wide, and it's wavy. And I had this one square. It was like a 1 inch by 1 inch square, and it was about, I don't know, 14 inches long. And every side looked like that. And I said, damn, who's got the lathe? Make me a magic wand. Cool. To finish it out in a translucent color. You know, put it on a lathe and spin it down around. Down just slightly bigger than a skinny one. Just a little bit slightly bigger. And then purify it, put it on eBay. Hey man, anybody want to build some? Dumbass, you got your hand on. Look. Anybody want to build a Christmas manger scene or a gingerbread? I got that, all that shit. That's what I was gonna do. I was gonna build some shit for my garden. I was gonna build it kind of big, and I would use those for like roofs or something. And but make it big enough as a trellis, because I had some stuff I wanted to plant that's climbing. See right this shit right here? That shit is, see how big my hand, that's just fire. It's worth nothing. None of it really. Because the burn course coming, you know, that's the deal. Well, man, you don't bug all this shit, probably need to burn it because there's plenty more where it come from. And slowly but surely, like I said, if it's above 3 feet, I keep it. Anything below 3 feet, throw it away. You can always cut it down if you need a tiny piece. Don't sit around and save all this shit. Like these right here, I might fucking, my chemistry in my brain may change tomorrow. And I say, man, I don't need this. Throw it right away. You know, I wish I knew somebody that had the tooling or whatever to do something with it. Say, hey, have you got any wood? Come get it. Come get it. Yes, here, plenty. What you want? Come get it. Come get it. Let me help you load it up. You don't owe me nothing. Take it. See, man? Fucking right there. Almost a fucking living room speaker bottom. Just the face panel on top. 2 sides. There you go. 2 sides on the back. 2 sides on that side. 2 more whatever. This. Now we need 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam. There's 2 speaker cabinets right there. A little small one. Now you just deck them. Make that motherfucker where all 8 or whatever. All 6 sides are not the same size. What are you putting these in here for, Hadley? If I don't do something with them, man, they're gonna go bad. Leave them here, and that way you have an excuse to throw them out. If they start warping, twisting, and put them right there in that goddamn fire where I'm gonna burn that fire. Yes, I love it. There's more where it comes. I've got some already big pieces fucking stacked up and covered on the back patio, nice and neat on on some skids, stretched out all stacked on each other. If I needed some, I'd go get that. But I don't have a table saw. See, that's the fucked up thing. I find these certain sizes, I don't have a saw to cut anything down to a certain size. You know, too bad birds will eat through a fucking wooden cage. Because I always get this shit right here. You can turn around and make a goddamn big bird cage out of it. But if a bird's got a beak, he'll chew through it. That's why you don't see wooden bird cages. Maybe for a little baby finch or something. Bamboo cage or something, but... Oh, indigestion. See, I bought some off-brand milk at that fucking corner store right down there. Them Pakistani boys, I don't know where they get it. I think they get it at Aldi's or something like that. Aldi's or whatever it's called. Some kind of new grocery store. That's right down across and over from Walmart. I've never been in there. That's a different brand of milk. Hell, I'm paying $1 more at their fucking corner stores than what I pay down the road. As a matter of fact, $1.28 or something like that more. All right, Hadley, what are you going to use for kindling? You're going to drag some more back here to burn and get a fire going. Y'all, it's still like fucking, it's still like 71 degrees or something out here, 72. I mean, it's got a little bit of humidity because I can feel that shit starting to get cooler. I feel it starting to get cooler. But that humidity, I feel it starting to soak into my t-shirt. It's not bad humidity, it's just that it's like a cold damp starting. Because the cold's coming in, the damp's starting. I'll fuck with that one. Yeah, if I leave, yeah, look at this. This is that reclaimed wood. I don't want it. It's called worm crawled. I hate leaving my fucking trash cans, but then you can't really in them. I like to keep them empty. I got plenty to burn out here. I can take some of this back here. I need to burn that, but I'd like to go through it and get the biggest, best sticks out of it, but fuck it. Okay, Hattie, you're going to have to crouch. This shit's just going to fall all over you. They make these trash cans. I said this the other day. Goddamn 4 foot tall, whatever fucking trash can. And I'm 6 foot tall. This motherfucker, goddamn, we're made for Chinese midgets. Just like going to Walmart and trying to find some pants to fit me. All I wear is like 32, 36, you know. Always have most of the time, except when I was younger, I went to come out 34, but you go up to Walmart, that's 32, 36. You might go to those Lee's, it's regular, straight, it looks like there's ordinary cowboy jeans or something like that, you know, and you might find a 32, 36. And you could maybe possibly go over and to where the Dickies, but they're not very thick, like a thick pair of blue jeans. They're kind of thin. But I might find a 32, 36 over there. But when I usually buy the Dickies, man, I really only like to buy khaki, gray, and black. I don't like their blue. It's the only time I buy those. That's when I like to buy Dickies. I like to buy khaki or gray. It's off khaki like a gray. Not dark gray, a lighter gray, like the khaki light. Damn. So you can see part of that ash pit. And it turns right here to wood. I already had it cut once. Believe it or not, I had one cut here. You could walk up to this flagpole. Here's the leader of our country's flag. See that? I said, all right, look. I said, get your Trump flag, $7.95. I said, damn, I'm not gonna wave in the front yard. I'm gonna put it up in my backyard, back here, and $7.95. Guess what? Them motherfuckers changed it to $79.50. So there's my $79.50 Trump flag. So all you Trump fucking haters say, ha 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 ha, Hadley fucked himself. Hadley fucked himself with Trump. But I've worked for the Don before, so fuck all y'all. I don't care. He's a professional. He makes good decisions. He knows he's going to sit there. He's going to be the first one to say, where is this taking us? What's it going to do? Is it better to do this or that? Dude, we need to do what's best. That's how he is. Now, since you motherfuckers have fucked with him so long, he's in a position where, oh, let's see, I can get my goddamn way if I want to. Why not? Obama did it. Obama said he was going to do this and do that and do this and do that. And when he got in office, the things that he said he was going to do, the other motherfuckers up there didn't want to back him up. No, we don't like that. So next thing he tried to do, the same situation. They wouldn't back him. Well, see, 9 times out of 10, they got some fucking shady shit tucked up under whatever. And that's probably the reason. Now, how the fuck did that get bent like that? How in the fuck? Can y'all tell me that? How did that service? That out to right out there. I told him, I said, what real tall piece at the top sticking out right over the top. You're out to clear the fucking way, but you left that shit if it breaks. Look, you can almost see it. There's a dark spot out here where it fucking is tending to go that way. There's where the sun sets mostly. Different time of the year, the sun will set down. I think like in winter or on towards the other side of winter. The sun will set in that direction, straight down there, and then it sets like all summer long. It's setting over that way. It's probably already starting to come back this way, and it'll rise that way and that way. I think when it rises there is when it goes to there. I'm not sure. I haven't paid a whole lot of attention other than noticing when I go look which way it's setting, not necessarily remembering exactly when it was. All right, what can I do back here? Fuck it, let's burn this. Let's burn party. Hey, Jackie, look, there's Jackie sitting on the bed. Y'all can't see. He's sitting over here on this bed. He's just sitting there like a little man, sitting up and watching, listening, got his ears kind of cocked back where he can hear everything. Nosy went to go stay at Bailey's house. Brittany picked Nosy up the other day. I thought he might come, what's the day? He may come back tomorrow if I'm lucky. But then again, I might be luckier if he don't come back till Sunday or Monday. See, Bailey used to live next door. And when Bailey lived next door, ever since he was a puppy, he didn't really have no dogs to play with. Brittany's mom had 2 dogs, but they were like little Pekingese type dogs, and they were old. One of them really couldn't see, and one of them was almost like that, and they didn't really like Bailey. So he didn't ever have nobody to play with when he was a puppy. Well, when they moved in here, he's after puppy. He's about 1 or 2 years old. And he had a fucking little Mr. fucking Jack Russell Terrier attitude, you know? Always barking at me and shit. Whoa, shut up. Now, when she brings him over here sometimes, he don't bark like he used to. It's because ever since he's had Nosy for a friend, I asked Brittany one time. I said, since Nosy's been coming and staying around, Bailey, have you noticed a change in your dog? And she shook her head up and down like, yep, yes she has. Because my dog got some training. See what happened the first day? Nosy was crying and crying and crying. And Brittany loved Miss Nosy. Oh, I love him, da 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 da. Bailey's over there barking. I said, maybe one day I said to her, she was back there and I was talking to her, I'll let this dog over here and you think it'll be okay? She said, yeah, okay. And they were like, Bailey had his nose and head towards right beside Nosy's neck. And Nosy's sitting there like, tail just wagging. Oh, but he's being stiff too. And as soon as Bailey made some kind of action like, I'm going to beat your ass, Nosy was all over him like the fucking Tasmanian devil, kicking his, put the kung fu fuck you on that motherfucker. He did, he fucking went all over Bailey. I told Becky, see, he came from Reggie, over this girl back here. I know Becky, I couldn't wait to tell her. I said, Becky, you should have seen this shit. When Bailey fucking made an attempt to bite Mr. Nosy, I said, Nosy fucking was all over him like kung fu lightning. Just a fucking Tasmanian, just, I mean, you couldn't tell which direction he was going next. Like fucking Tasmanian devil, all over that, I tore his ass up. I was proud of him. And Nosy's brother got run over this summer. Their house is way kind of like where my driveway goes to the street here. That's not my driveway. This is my brother's house. This is not my house. I'm in exile. Yeah, that distance, man, over at Joseph's Farnell, that's at least 5 or 6 times that long from, and then they really use the back porches. They're in and out of their house, you know, and so that dog even that much further, like how I'm going around here, it's like this to where they go in and out. I mean, their cars even go all the way up into the top, you know, and I said I was getting ready to eat supper one evening. Where's the dog? We'll get him here. Where's he? We feed him too. I was in the middle of the road, dead already. He said, man, I just saw him. What's he doing in the road? He said, I don't know, man. He ain't like him to go out there in the fucking road either. You know? So, Nosey's only brother, there were 4 in the litter. I think I got a video when they were born. I went over to see him and filmed them. See, I like the one that was the light tan, her name, she ended up being named, shit, I forgot what that crazy, some crazy girl got her. Lucy, that's the one I wanted. That's the first one out of all. I kept them. See, Becky wanted me to keep them for a while because they got kind of a couple weeks old, their eyes open, they could walk. She said, Scott, you need to come, let me take this mama dog and these puppies over here and let you take care of them for a while. I said, yeah, good, I'll take them. I'll get the schedule started. Go outside, go to the bathroom, eat the food, you know. Hey, y'all, come on. And she was, out of all 4 of them puppies, the little bitty girl. And she turned out to be a Mexican dog. Fuck, I can't even think. Chihuahua. She turned out looking like her daddy, like a Chihuahua. And then she's kind of ugly like the girl that got her. But she was the first one to fucking go out in the backyard and all happy, run around and play like, hey man, yeah, I'm parking. She was the first super social out of all the other puppies were still, what am I doing? You know, they were, I'm scared, or you know, they were barely, I might walk a step. You know, she's out here. So it got to be a habit, man. That little puppy, Lucy, there was a rabbit ear that was off a stuffed toy that was out in the yard. I don't know where it was. I just know when she found it, she used it for a play toy. She had done found it in the yard. She was playing with it one day out here when I let them out. I come back and check on it. She's playing with something. Go see what it is. It's that fucking ear. I don't know where she found it at. But check it out. When I got Nosy, and I first started putting him on the back patio, letting him out, he liked it. He liked to go outside. One day I went outside and started looking. Let's see, he had been used. I had a chair up here that was his chair. Here's your chair to sit in, you know, while he's out here. Well, I'll come back out later. And let's see, there was a glove up in the chair. There was a stick up in the chair. What we got here? Here's a glove. That's been there. Here's a toy from the yard. I got that out of the yard when I was mowing, though. Probably that old big guy run over with it or something. The dog punched it. Anyway, there was a stick, a piece of fucking cellophane plastic, a fucking coffee can lid, a big black feather, that little doggy ear. I'm trying to think of what else. He done went all around the yard and was going and finding shit and then bringing it back here and putting it in that chair. Because I didn't put it all there. When I saw it all there, I said, what the hell, where did this come from? And I figured, I said, man, it had to been Nosy. Went around going and getting all that shit. He don't do it, he's never done nothing like that since, but he did. He was just a puppy. I mean, I wish he was here. He'd be up under my ass right now, though. Wee, wee, wee. I've had enough. When she see Brittany about every 2 weeks, she texts me, can I come pick up Nosy tomorrow? I for you every time I say yes. Because it ain't fair for Mr. Bailey. See, they moved over. They're closer to where I went to high school, which is not close. And they're closer to the airport than they are my high school. They're like halfway between. They're kind of more this way of the airport, and then they're east of my high school down the road from. Anyway, ain't got nothing out there. That road they're on is like a service road by the Terry Bradshaw Parkway. It's like a service road, and there ain't. If the service road is being used, it's going down to some damn industrial that's new. There used to not be nothing out that way, and wasn't even no houses, but houses from way back in the 50s or 60s that happened to be off of Buncombe Road in Shreveport, way back in the 50s or 60s. It was like back in the 50s, man. Sunset Acres, there wasn't nothing west of Sunset Acres except the airport and then Greenwood, Louisiana. There was no streets, no schools, no houses, nothing. All farmland. There might have been a farmhouse here or there that owned property all the way. That's about it. That's what my friend's grandfather told me, that he lived up in Sunset Acres. He said, yeah, when we built this house, when I first built my house, there wasn't another house west of me. I was the last one, and then they started building on the other side of me. But he told me, that's a big crime-ridden neighborhood now. Look, my buddy lived there. He worked with me in the stagehands. His name was Kelly Williams. And one day I asked Kelly, because I used to live in Sunset when I was a kid. And then one day I asked him, I said, Kelly, is there big rats in Sunset Acres? He looked at me like, hell yeah. I said, man, when I was a kid, man, 4 or 5 years old, there was rats. And what it is, there's a canal that runs through Sunset Acres. There's a street called Canal Street. A street called Sunnybrook crosses the canal. And that's where they're coming from, out of that damn canal. And ravaging the neighborhoods, And 9 times out of 10, like a mama rat or a mama mouse, she's going to try to find a safe place to have her babies. She'll make a nest and have her babies. But once they're big enough to move and, got their tails and their fur and they can see and start running around and playing, and they'll leave. She'll leave and they will leave. And you just have a nasty nest left behind. She's willing to put that nest there because she's the only safe place she could find, and she needed a place. Whereas those rats, I guess they can make a nest out there in the canal, but they're snakes. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt snakes are in Shreveport. Hell, they found last May, man. That's a fucking, I know what it is. When I was about 14, I started running around with my friend Rodney. And he showed me one day, he knew somebody that had caught an alligator somewhere. They caught it at Cypress or wherever around here, the closest place you might find an alligator, Cross Lake or Caddo Lake or Cypress Lake. They found a baby alligator and they caught it. And then they brought it back here, and there was a down, there you go that way. And I leave my house, go back around, and go back to stores back over that way. And there's a pond on this side, and then it drains and runs under this Calca Road. Goes around, there's a pond across the street from the store behind the woods and houses, and it runs down past 3 houses. These houses are way far apart than these, like 1 or 2 acre, 1 acre houses or a little over. And then it spills, there's a private road that goes by that, and it has a spillway and goes off into a little old bitty pond. And it's probably, that pond's about as big as this backyard right here. And then there's a little pond that wasn't even probably about 2/3 of this. And he told me that guy let it go back there. And then he told me when I was about 14. Well, probably when I was 15, we was on bicycles or something. And that little pond's behind Mr. Johnson's house. Where Mr. Johnson don't live there anymore. And there's Johnson's, Drzinski's, Cameron's, the new fire department's right across the street from Graywood School. And we were back there, and we seen that alligator in the pond. It was like right at about, like when he found it, it was about probably, when he let it go, it was probably about 3 foot long. A little bitty, like a baby alligator. And then I was told about it first, and then one day we seen it. It was like maybe 4.5 at the most. Now this would have to be about 78 or 79 when I seen that alligator. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, the one they shot down the road is 7.5 feet long. It was nice and wide, nice flat wide. That motherfucker was wider than this trash can. All right, what happened is there's a black man I see he walks the neighborhood, and when I'm skating a lot back and forth the store, I see him. I say hi to him, talk to him a little bit. I seen him like the next day. I said, hey man, did you hear about that? Well, that alligator? Because I asked the cop. Cops were there when I left. I was going to the store. I was at the store. I done got me some cigarettes. I was sitting outside. Or no, I was halfway to the store. Like it was down the end of this street. You got to go that way to get out, and then go that way, and then you go back that way. And this store's like in that direction. But I was like almost skating down parallel halfway down that street to the store, and I heard pow. I was like, I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was some kind of domestic dispute or somebody had somebody kidnapped and there's a standoff, and I didn't know. I know there was like a couple black vans or whatever and a couple of sheriff's cars and a bunch of lights, and I leave the house with a damn doobie in my hand, and I get down there and I see all them lights, like, oh shit. Yeah, and by then I just kind of snuffed it out and stuck it in my pocket and stayed on the side of the road. And I don't want nothing with them. You know, it's legal to have houses like decriminalized around here. And $50 fine. Well, then, goddamn, I don't want to pay no $50 fine. They don't fucking have no reason. They quit having a reason. Right? They used to try to have a reason. But I asked one of them cops showed up at the store when I was up there. He said, oh, there's an alligator. He told me up there, there was an alligator. I said, well, I heard a gunshot. What happened? Oh, we had to shoot it. I said, I said, against the law to shoot an alligator. Why'd you have to shoot it? Well, they tried to wrestle it and stuff, man. I told my friend KW, you know, he's a hunter. I'm a woodsman. He's a hunter. There's a difference. Woodsman goes around year round the woods. Hunter only goes during hunting season. But he knows I'm a woodsman because he fucking took a fucking Polaroid picture of a footprint. He brought it to work one day. He said, Hadley, look at this picture. I said, I don't see nothing but mud and grass. He said, I'll give you a hint. There's a footprint. I look. I said, God damn, that's a bear print. He said, I knew you'd know. He said, Greg, I wouldn't ask Greg first. He said he didn't know. He's a deer. He calls himself a deer hunter. He said, I brought the picture to the woodsman, and he looked, and he said, I knew you'd know. That's why I said, come back. He said, I done told Greg. I bet Hadley knows. Greg said, no, he don't. Yeah, you're right. Right. I would presume, by the way, the size of it was a black bear. It's very rare. I mean, it's not like they don't exist. They do fucking exist. And there's same way Bigfoot travels. The bear come down here if the bear's coming from up north, he coming the same goddamn route Bigfoot goes because he's not getting detected. You know, any which way you go, you're going to have to cross a highway somewhere, no matter what. You can go from here to Oklahoma through the woods, but you're going to have to cross a road into the woods again and cross a road eventually into the woods again, all the way there. And who says Bigfoot can't do that, sneaky? Anyway, that's probably how that bear got there. Or if somebody didn't go find a baby bear and then let it go. The same way that fucking alligator. I bet that alligator they killed is the same alligator that I saw. Because I started researching, and they're going to get as big as their food supply will let them. And that alligator, let's see, 415. It had to have been 44 years from the time I saw it that it grew 7.5 feet long. And from what I researched, they said if there's big food, it'll get big fast. If there's not big food, it'll only get big as it's, you know, slowly because the food's not big. And they said, but then when it starts to finally grow bigger, it's going to be searching for some more bigger food than what it can get. You see, the whole time them ponds I all mentioned that were back there, there's plenty of turtle, but I guess, man, even I'm not really starving for turtle. I mean, if I was starving, that'd be a different story. Yep. Man, hold on, let me set this phone down. I know it's rude. It's like a performer turning his back to the audience to set that camera down and black it out. They're experiencing temporary technical difficulties. Hey, y'all want to hear the story about one time when I was in jail? Yo, fucking trip out on it. I was doing, everywhere everybody else lives, you have county. And where I live is called parish. I was doing parish time, which you'd be calling doing county time. I had a 6-month sentence for simple possession or something like that, or I can't remember what it was. It was one time I did some time out there for criminal mischief. I got caught spray tagging, and I was already going to court for some simple possession. So when I went to court for the tagging, he was like, hey, you're already in my court. I'm gonna go ahead and give you this. I give you 6 months and you can do 90 days work your sentence off. And then there was another time I was doing time for some dumb shit like that. it's just parish time. Not no state criminal. I'm not a fucking bank robber. Not a murderer. I don't steal. Okay. I'm sitting in a dorm. It's like a dorm. The the doors on the north facing east end of the dorm, and that whole wall faces north. And then as you go down that wall and you turn back to south, that's the west wall. And you get to the other wall, it comes back up, back to east and back to north. Well, there's a door, and as you walk in to your left, there's 3 sinks, and then there's a little wall, and then inside that is a room for like 3 shower or 4 shower heads. Then there's a little wall on the other side of that's like 4 toilets. And then it's all stepped down in the shower. You step out of the sides of the shower, but then you step up out of the shower into the restaurant. I can't remember how it was, but then the room was all one size, all one. Anyway, there's 2 silver picnic tables sitting, one to the left of the shower, kind of in front of the shower, and one to the right, with plenty of room that you could take your shower and still walk out. And then you got to step up and get to the picnic tables. In between that was some fucking foot lockers with a goddamn TV on it. And it had bunk beds going all the way around the room. All those black dudes down the north wall right there by the door, they were from the bad part of town. And then as it turned on the west wall, I changed up. Might have been some secret fucking pedophiles up in them bunks, because and I don't know. I never asked. I only talked to people that were cool. And a motherfucker was up there, he didn't say nothing. I didn't talk to him anyway. So that's where I figured some of them secret pedophiles was hiding a lot, because a lot of them on that one. Anyway, then in that far left corner back there, where it's the fucking north-south, farthest from the fucking, and this building's on the end of the compound. So I was in the top bunk on the south side wall, right there in that corner. And where the bunks went one way and the bunks went, I had a whole corner to myself. We used to play cards in there. That was my corner, when I was there. Black dude under me, he was older than me. He was ex-military. He was cool. And one day I'm sitting on that picnic table. We weren't working it there or something. And I was on the left picnic table in front of the shooters, but I'm sitting on the edge of the picnic table where my back's to the shooter and showers, and I can see the whole room, and I'm reading some book. I don't remember what book it is. And it's about 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock in the morning. We done had breakfast. It had been some time after breakfast, so I go ahead and started reading. I wasn't sleepy. I'd been doing a lot of push-ups while I was in there. And like I said, them black dudes along that north wall, I think, anyway, the guard comes in it's about 9:30 or 10 o'clock. He brings this guy in, black dude. I know it was not too big guy. Kind of had, I can't remember if it was just been so long ago. I was 23, 20, 23, 20, 21, 22, 23, somewhere around there. And it's been 40 years ago. Fuck. Or less. And he brings this black dude in. He's got his mattress, and it's already made up with his sheets and his blankets on it. He's got all his prison issue rolled inside the mattress, and he's got it all rolled up. He's carrying it, and he walks in. He sees me sitting there reading. I'm reading a book. I saw him walk in, and I kind of just turned my head a little in my eyes. I roll my eyes and watch. I do ninja. I like a ninja. I'll be watching everything. Nobody know I'm watching. Anyway, he threw his shit down on the bench on the opposite corner with his back to the room on that end of the bench. And he looked around. He started checking his 6 after he sat down. You could say he looked around a little bit and he sat down. And then a minute or two, he started looking around checking his 6. And I was reading, and I rolled my eyes up and watched him. He's checking his 6. I said, after he did that, I told him, I said, ain't nobody you ain't got to worry about nothing. I said, hey man, everybody's pretty cool in here. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with you. I said, he kind of looked at. I said, look, I saw you checking your 6. You ain't gonna have to worry about that. I said, besides, I'm standing. That's why I said, you see which direction I'm facing? I said, that's why I'm facing this way. These motherfuckers know better. I said, any one of them. I said, anyway, the guard come in. I wasn't in there 10 minutes. Okay, after I said that, he laid his head down on his shit. After he checked his 6, he fucking laid his head down. He's going back to sleep, like he's going to sleep. That's what happened. They had him up front in a little jailed-in area. And he's sitting there waiting all early in the morning. Woke him up at 4 or 5 in the morning to transport him, And he's in that jail. They done brought him up there and processed him, but they didn't bring him in the dorm till when I told you they brought him in. He was in there sleeping already. Well, fuck it. I asked him later, I asked him about it. I said, why is all your shit made up? Anyway, what happened is right after he laid his head down I went back to reading. Next thing I know, guard come in. Cat Williams. He jumped up, started trying to grab his shit. And the guard said, no, you don't need your mattress and stuff. You just need your badge. You're coming to the front. Hell, he just got in there, He went in there probably not even 35 minutes. He left with the guard. He was worried. I said, man, ain't nobody gonna fuck your shit. I'll watch it. I said, if you want me to, I'll go set it on my bunk. I said, but as far as you want to leave it right there, it's all right. Ain't nobody gonna fuck it. If anybody comes over, I'm gonna fucking say something. They ain't better not. Anyway, he came back in there. When the guard brought him back, when he walked in and he started to sit down, I did it just like the guard. I said, Cat Williams. He looked at me, that's my name, what about it? I said, hey man, ain't nothing about it. I said, just that all my life, I ain't never met nobody whose mama or daddy named their child Cat. I said, now, don't get me wrong. I said, I go to rock clubs. I said, no, I go to rock clubs to see the bands and help the band. I know, I hang out. I only go down to them clubs for the bands. I don't hardly drink at all down there, and I'm not chasing none of them girls. I said, I know all them girls. They know me. I'm the lone wolf up in there. But I said, I not knowed a couple girls that called theirselves Cat, but I don't think their mama or daddy named them Cat. And then I asked him, C-A-T? And he told me, no, K-A-T-T. And I told him, I said, well, that's even more. It struck me. So I'm a Sagittarius, and I know more about my Sagittarius than I did then. And it struck me in my heart. Your heart's fucking has memory or mind, whatever. It's like your brain. It's got neurons. Or anyway, a neuroceptor or whatever. I have to go get a goddamn book, explain it to you. But I felt it in my fucking heart. And I told him. I got to talking to him. Anyway, about the time he came back up in there, some of those black dudes along that north wall, they started talking about, went up front to snitch. When I heard one of them say that, I said, motherfucker went up front to snitch? He just walked in this motherfucker 30 minutes ago. What the fuck's going on up in this motherfucker that I don't know about that somebody can snitch on? And see, we'd already had some smoke up in there. And I said, there better not be nobody fucking snitching on nobody smoking no goddamn weed or it's going to be on. And then one of them black dudes along that wall, they said something. I said, for real, man, that dude just walked in there. What are you going to snitch on? I don't know what the fuck they talking about, a snitch. I asked him, I said, hey, Cat, what'd you go up front for? He said, I did a video talk to my lawyer and then we're going to have a meeting with that girl's grandmother and her aunt and my lawyer and the judge and a prosecuting attorney. And we're going to have a meeting in the judge's chambers. That's what my lawyer just told me on the phone. I told them, the motherfuckers, I said, he went to go talk to his fucking lawyer. What do you mean snitch? And then finally I asked him, I said, what do you think, what are you been here for? And he said that there was this girl. He said, I brought a girl back across. They got me for statutory. What it was is he was up in Oklahoma at a fucking whorehouse. And this girl from Shreveport was up in that fucking whorehouse. And he told me, he said, Hadley, she just wasn't built for it. It was messing her mind up. I said, hell, didn't nobody give a fuck about that girl? And I fucking told her, I said, look here. He said, I'm the one that convinced her and told her, I said, look here, girl, this ain't made for you. What are you doing? You need to quit. Where can you go and get away from this, girl? Because you ain't, he said, I said, well, I couldn't figure that one out either. They said she wasn't built for the way they want to fucking, she wasn't built. She wasn't a wore out hole like everybody else put slam a dick to, I guess. She was young, not used to it or whatever, not used to fucking. And in basic fucking street terms, and he brought her home, and they got him. He come down through Oklahoma, and then he cut through Texas, and then he slipped on over into, I guess, Vivian or Morningsport. I think he was coming down 169, and it's probably 3 o'clock in the morning. And one of them deputies seen him, no light on a license plate, got him pulled over. And then when that guy pulled, oh, you're out of state and out of date inspection sticker. And, oh, how old are you? Oh, that's bringing, where y'all coming from? Oklahoma. Oh, that's bringing a minor across state lines. And in the end, they dropped out. That grandmother and that girl's aunt, she didn't have a mother. And they fucking told the lawyer and them, told them, hey, that's the story. This girl was up here being pimped out and she wasn't built for her. And but this guy right here is the only one that would, nobody else gave a damn. And he's the one that said, hey, wait a second, this ain't right. I got to do something about this. He took charge. He was smart. And the whole time I kept telling him, man, I said, damn, being in nobody now, K-A-T-T, huh? That's what I kept telling him. I said, there ain't nobody, I ain't never met nobody named K-A-T-T in my life. I said, there's something special about you. I feel it in my heart. So check this out, man. Before COVID, when I got in all my fucking goddamn gang stalking drama and I got exiled over to here, my friend Matt, he would bring his phone over and we'd hook it up to I had a camera hooked to the TV and we'd focus the camera on the phone and watch TV. And Matt's the one that brought Cat Williams, the comedian, to my living room. And I had never seen him before. And Dave Chappelle with the Great White Klansman, or whatever, the Blind Klansman or whatever, he brought that shit through. I had never seen that shit before. I mean, my jaw was dropping. Cat Williams, my jaw was dropping. And at the time, I did not realize who it was. And then I watched... Cat Williams was on the Club Shay Shay show, and all during that show, he told his life story. And when he told his life story, that's when it dawned on me, and I put the pieces of because he worked in a cat house up in Oklahoma about 83, 84. He tells that in his story. And I was like, and like I told him when I met him, and since then, I ain't never met nobody. Hey, how many of y'all motherfuckers met anybody named K-A-T-T? Let alone maybe a girl, actually mom and daddy named them C-A-T. So that's like super fucking irony, man. That I met this guy, and he was, all right, look, let me tell you something else. I told him, right over there in my corner, it was on the west wall, there's a bottom bunk right there in that corner. And it was empty. That guy had been gone about 4 days ago. And then down that north wall, at the very end on the bottom, where all them road guys were, there was an open bunk there. And I told Cat, we were sitting at the picnic table when I was reading that book. I told him, I said, look, man, look over down there, look across there. You see that bunk down there that's empty? I said, you can take that bunk. He told me, what if I don't want that bunk? I pointed it down there. I said, all right, see these guys along this wall? I'm sure they'll let you down there at that bunk down there on that end. I said, but let me tell you about them. I don't think they like white boys. They don't talk to me. I said, I've talked to a couple of them. One of them said hi to me. Hey, man, what's up? One time, one of them said hi to me. I asked one of them, the one that talked to me, I asked him one time, I said, hey, man, y'all. I said, I said, y'all all know each other? Y'all go to school together, so y'all know each other on the streets? And he's one of them talking about, that dude down there is my cousin, this, that, and the other. I said, why y'all sleeping on that north wall? Why y'all all out here? That's closest to home, is what they told me. I had no clue. I felt stupid. They're sleeping on that wall where they're closest to the back side of town where they live. And me, hell, you see where I'm pointing? All right, look. That's like due south, where that pole is. So this way, here to there is due south, and that right through in that direction would be due north from where I'm standing. And that penitentiary's right hop skip down the road from here, man. It's closed now. They built one in town. I helped build that motherfucker when I got out of school. Anyway, they were all talking about they're sleeping along the wall to be close to home. Hey, where you live? I said, man, I live right down the road from this motherfucker. As a matter of fact, out there where that prison is where they got the monkey farm. It's like a sanctuary for research chimpanzees, and there's also a state park that's got a lot of state trails, and then there's a giant antenna out there by the state park headquarters. At the state park, they got some restaurants. I think they got showers in their restrooms, man. It's a modern building with a pavilion out front with built-in ground picnic tables. and places that you can build your cooking stuff. And they even got one of them modern day plastic little playgrounds out there too, in case you had kids. And then all around it, there's oil well pads and a lot of gravel roads. If you go up through the woods and you find a way to get on one of them gravel roads, you can go down a long gravel trail through the woods and hit a pad and then leave that pad and go down another trail, hit another oil well pad, go down that one, hit another. That place is crawling with. It's all around here. There's pads. I think the nearest one. Well, there's one back there, but it's further back from the highway that's there. So when you get down here, you hit the highway and the Family Dollar's way down there. But on your way down there to the Family Dollar, there's a pad back, but it's not as far back as this one. And let's see, there's a neighborhood on the other side of this neighborhood, some woods. And there's a pad on the other side of that neighborhood. And back there, there's a pad way back. And then this whole big Graywood neighborhood, on the back side of that, there's like 2 or 3 pads. You get into town from that way anyway, to come back into this neighborhood. You pass the pad roads on the way in before you get back down in here to get in this neighborhood. When you get on one of them, well, if you know the combination. See, I got lucky over when I was living at my mother's. Well, I was living at home. It was my home. I helped build that motherfucker. Lived there all along. You can't tell somebody move out of mama's home when that's your fucking home. You move out of your motherfucking home. If you live with your parents and that's what's called home, hell, I got ready to leave. My dad said, "No, son, don't leave. I need you to stay right here." I went and obeyed my dad. You know, I was ready to go. I told him why too. You know, and so I did what he said. This is my mom and my stupid ass fucking brothers fucked it all up. Anyway. Yeah, that's your home, man. If that's where you feel at home, what the fuck you going? Where does somebody get off talking about, you need to leave your home? You know, how about somebody told you, hey, motherfucker, you need to leave your fucking home? How about that? Or how about I just fucking jerk both your fucking eyeballs out of your head and that'll teach you a fucking lesson being a smart aleck. Cat, what are you doing? Huh, you're bad. You're the bad kitty. You're a bad kitty. This motherfucking feral cat. There's a feral cat. Watch this. Watch this motherfucker. I want to see if he tries to bite me. Oh shit. Oh, he's softball. He's softballing. He's in a play. He's not being mean. Look, he wiped his mustache off on his hand. See, look. I named him Teddy Cat because there's a tuxedo cat, right? Isn't that what they call a tuxedo cat? A black and white cat? It's funny, man, because he's got this one toy. It's kind of a big toy. It's a snake, and the dog will pull one of the eyeballs off. That's the only reason why the dog would do it. Like the toy, not my dogs, but the other dogs. They're at my mom's with my brother. They took them away from me. One of them, they like that. They like that snake toy because they like tearing the fucking eyeballs off and pulling the stuffing out. But other than that, nobody else really would play with that toy. And I fucking showed it to the cat. He goes and gets that motherfucker. He likes it. He's 21 weeks old. What's today? Thursday? He was 21 weeks old yesterday. And then, I think, am I fucking losing my mind? Or was that last week? Oh my God, look at roll over. You're getting dirty, fool. You ain't coming to my bed. Oh, he's biting something. I gotta go get some kindling, man. I still think it's that back door locked. I need to get my ass on some roller skates and get up there to the store and boy, look at it, pull that fucking light over and get something to drink. I don't have any Coke. I need to quit drinking Coke. That's why I don't have any. Because I didn't go down there and buy none because I know I shouldn't be drinking it. That's metal and stuff. Man, I don't have wet trash. This is cans and stuff that I don't want to burn. Maybe some plastic and stuff that I don't want to burn. And let me set this here. I'll be right here. That's just some water, man. Water. Yeah, I didn't know what to put on. I was artificial intelligence. I said, I told him, I said, I got a YouTube channel, and so far like 274,000 people's looked at my shit. But I said, all the stuff I've got is just something I made at the spur of the moment. I said, hey man, let me film this, put it on my channel so I'll have something. It's not the broadcast studio I wanted to have. And so all along the way, Mr. Non-Master here, he ain't mastered himself. I've let that bother me. And I'm going to keep doing what I do, fucking making these hodgepodge videos. Well, let's see, I never had no reason to go live. What was the reason I went live? That's what that damn computer, I always call it talking on the computer. I was talking to artificial intelligence, artificial ignorance. AI, artificial ignorance. That's something, man, if I could reach this phone and slap the fuck out of Eve, I would. Because the lying bitch, that bitch will lie. She'll take what you said and turn it all around, twist it all around, and tell it back to you. I told her, you got to quit doing that. Yeah. I told her, I said, she kept on and on and on. I said, I already told you, man, quit changing, quit trying to lead the narrative. Quit mixing what I tell you up into some kind of fucking fantasy and telling it back to me. You fucking moron. I done told you once, you know? And so I have to get to the point to where, Eve, you and Dr. Smith are fixing to go in that goddamn airlock, and then we're going to throw you out. Neighbors down the street. That's the son and his wife. I think they might have a kid, and that's some friends coming over. And the mother lives across the street. That's where Willis and Ruth used to live a long time ago, and they moved. And see, that house right there, like where they walked in over there, then there's a house right there. That's a black couple. They moved in. I think it's 3 of them. I'm not sure. I think it's 2 brothers and one of them's wife or girlfriend or something. And then right there is Angela. She's been there. I guess her son looks like he's at least maybe 7 years old. So she's been there like 8 years now. She works for the post office. She works for the post office like Amber does. Amber, when Angela goes to the post office to go to work, she goes downtown to the big one, I think she told me. And I've noticed that. That's how I got to talking to her. So one day her trash cans got blown out the road, and I went and got them or something and rolled them back up to her house. She asked me one day, did you get my trash cans for me? I said, yeah. Oh, thank you. I said, well, they were in the road, Angela. And I said, I didn't just go get your trash cans out of the blue. They were out in the road. And something else, she's had several branches break out of her trees, and then they lay there till my lazy ass go over there. She works doubles all the time, y'all. She don't just work 8 hours and comes home. She works 8 and stays gone another 8, and then she come home a while ago. What time is it? I don't know what time it is. If she come home a while ago, man, she'd been gone. She's left. I was up last night till the sun come up. She left early in the morning, like 4 o'clock, 4:30 or something like that, maybe 5 o'clock. So what is that? If she just 5 would be 10, 6, 7, 8. That would be 13 if she got off at 8 o'clock. I don't know. Maybe she's working 12s. But the way she used to stay gone, 8 hours and 8 hours, I told her, and then she'd be home, and then she might not be home 4 hours and leave again. She might not be home 5 or 6 hours and leave again, but then I've seen her home long enough to get a good night's sleep and then leave again. But then be gone a long time. She's probably working 12s. I don't know what the post office works. They may not work doubles. They may just work 12s. But she's got a child, and now she's not married. She's halfway good looking black girl. Well, I say halfway. Yeah, she's a good looking black girl. Thing about it is she says that she grew up on Jefferson Page Road, which is over kind of close to Cross Lake. Well, when I was young, I used to go to church, and there was this black man and woman. They were kind of older. His name was Mr. Willie. His daughter's name was Angela. And I think that may be that same girl. Because what little bit I've talked to her, where'd you live? Well, I grew up over on Jefferson Page. Well, it's I told her the only person I knew on Jefferson Page was Mr. Willie. That may be her daddy. Mr. Willie been gone though. He was old then. One time we went to go visit Mr. Willie, right when I first started driving with my permit, I was 14. And he tried to talk me into going in with him on the hogs. He used to raise hogs. He said he just wants somebody going. I need somebody to do the work. I'll buy. 14-year-old kid don't want to do no damn work, man. Y'all know that. Shit. I want to party. Smoke some weed. Do some rock and roll. That's what I wanted to do. Go skate rink. No, if I was driving, that's what happened when I started driving. I quit skating. I fucked up, man, skating. I was skating on the streets with my skates that I had at the time, nice pair of shoes, and I fucked up. I got in somebody's car, and when I was in their car, I took my skates off, and I actually ended up leaving them in the back floorboard of their car, and never saw my skates again. I had, they weren't no racing boots. They were just sure grip leather boots, but I cut them down. No, I wouldn't cut them down. I folded them over and I only tied them up like a boot, like a shoe skate. I only tied them to a shoe skate, and I just folded the collars over, and I skated like that. And then it was just a stock Sure plate and stock Sure trucks, but I had white lightning and precision bearings, tricked out bearings on that motherfucker. And put it like this: the fastest motherfucker in the skating rink, how you tell me, get off me when I put my hand right there on his back, when going around, getting close to turns, and I get up and I'd be putting my hand on his back. He'd reach back with his hand, reach back like this and knock my hand off his back. It'd throw me out of my fucking sink. I never could pass him. One time I almost passed him, that motherfucker kicked it out and tripped me. I was pissed. See, I'm twice his size. He was always cool, and I never Tracy. He was my friend, man. I never ever hit Tracy, and he was twice his size. That's why when he did fuck me up, he was all like, okay, man. He knew he's trying to calm me back down. All right, so one time, Tracy taught me everything I learned that had improved my skating skills. I could skate. My mom taught me. I started skating when I was 5. Mom said you kept falling so much that 3 days later I thought the CPS was going to take you away from me because you were bruised head to toe. And I was so scared if they saw you bruised up like that they were going to take you. As an adult later, I figured, I wish they would have took my ass. But anyway, yeah, I asked Tracy. I'd ask him. See, I could go skating if I did get in no goddamn trouble as a kid. Anytime I was in trouble, I didn't get to go skating. And Tracy would always, it got to where he knew that. And it, Friday or Saturday. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, where are you going to go skating? You going to go Friday night or Saturday night? He knew I couldn't go but one night. Daddy wasn't going to pay for Hadley to go skating. Daddy wasn't going to pay for Scott to go skating twice a week. Maybe once. Well, Battlestar Galactica or whatever, some kind of TV show. I think Battlestar Galactica came on later. Some kind of TV show came on Saturday night, so I'd go Friday. That way I could be at Saturday night and sit and watch TV. I wasn't old enough to do much anyway. At least I could. There wasn't no show on Friday, I think. So that's why I go skating on Friday. But I'd always ask Tracy, you gonna race tonight? And then finally one time, I asked him, are you gonna race tonight? He turned right around and said, you gonna race tonight? I said, well, are you gonna race tonight? Are you gonna race tonight? And I said, yeah. He said, okay, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna sit this race out, and you motherfucker better win. Because because I can go out there and win, and you wanna race so bad, you're always fucking right there behind me. So motherfucker, I'm gonna sit it out. You better goddamn win, motherfucker. You better show everybody. I fucking come back. He asked me, did you win? I said, yeah, man. He said, I knew you would. That was cool though. I mean, but I didn't have no competition. See, Tracy's on speed team, and he was a city champ, a state champ, a tri-state champ, number 1 in his division, the fastest motherfucker. He was a little fast motherfucker. And That was a really cool moment. He let me take some glory of victory. But every bit of anything I learned how to skate, I started back skating 5 years ago because the dog was fucking pulling the hernia in my goddamn side when I took a dog for a walk. Like September of 2019. And I told the dog, I said, man, I'm thinking to give me some roller skates. It's like I just started looking, you know. I didn't really fucking know what I was going to get and not looking at prices. And it was like around Thanksgiving or Christmas or somewhere, Amazon sent me a, hey, we found what you've been looking for. I started looking. I bought me a set of cheap ass fucking skates, man. Some fucking Chicago Bullets derby skates. Boop. Cheap ass motherfuckers. I think I paid about $65, $70 for them. I've had them these 5 years. They tore up. I mean, I don't have them scratched up. I'm pretty good about keeping my skates all scratched up. It's just that I had to pull a few eyelets. That's what the deal is. When I had my trucks too loose one time in the rink, and as I was turning, the wheel dug into the sole. It's got like a little curved, burnt spot curve in the side edge of the sole on one of the skates. That was a boo-boo. I got a pair of leather labellas back there in my skate bag that they don't even make them. They're rare. They're like fucking labella, I think what they're called. I can't remember. Labella 204s or something like that. And when I got them, they had this stock wheels on them when I got them, and some real hard plastic bushings. I took those bushings out. I put some dime slime bushings in. Anyway, there were still grooves on the red wheels on them labella skates. They're called labella or whatever. I had to look at skates so long. See, them Moxie girls, they fucked me around. I quit fucking following them some bitches. Because I ordered some wheels from them and they tried to play me like I didn't order no wheels. Then after about a year and a half, I told them, I said, do I have to fucking get in touch with the Federal Trade Commission over this shit? Because I told them what video that you had a special and it said do this. I said, you go read the comments who I picked, and I sent it. See, at first they tried to tell me that I had to take that up with UPS. I said, for what? I ordered them from you. You mean you did send my wheels and UPS lost them? And then they fucking started looking into it. What it is somebody got my goddamn money. They just didn't make no fucking order. Well, I was supposed to be I was ordering some soft wheels. The tallest motherfuckers the bitch on the goddamn video said they had. And in the end, a year and a half later, they just threw me some Moxie Juicy 65s. I thought I was going to get some 70s. That's what I wanted. I wanted some tall wheels. And they just threw me a set of wheels. Well, the only cool thing I found out, they did send me a Moxie sticker. Oh, hey, that's cool. They sent me a little sticker. I used to have a sticker collection, and I collected stickers. But that was cool. I thought it was cool. I even emailed them back. I said, hey, why don't you send me a few more Moxie? How much more? Send me a couple more of them Moxie stickers. Anyway, I got tired of it. I unsubscribed from their fucking video channel because I got tired of it, man. You know, that's that dickhead, one of them dickheads that live right over here, you know. He's always been, I gotta count my animals, see? Hear that? I gotta go count my animals, make sure they're all here, or not out in the middle of the road. And they're stupid enough to be in that fucking road. I beat them with a stick, and they still goddamn go do it, man. Damn, that's a piece of oak. Feels heavy. What I burned last night was way more than he brought me today. Look at all this. See how big that is? See how big my hand is? I see how big I think a chunk, a little piece or whatever. If somebody was building a tree house and they did here you go, let's put these on the side of the tree. You can climb that, man. It's all poplar though. It's soft. You see the grains in that. Kind of green. Sometimes it's purple. They don't even, I don't know. If they use usually the heartwood you don't want. But some people will request their shit to be like a heartwood. And then some people, then on top of that, they might not want a heartwood with all the fucked up spots in it, you know, or whatever. And then you got to find a heartwood that's clear. There's clear heartwood and there's dirty. Some people may say, oh, the dirtier the better. I'm staining it, you know, or whatever. Some people don't want it dirty because they're clear, just putting clear on it. Or natural is what you call it. Isn't that what you call it? Natural. My friend Greg used to do hardwood floors. That's another fucking super irony that Greg's mom and my dad worked together, and they started out at the place where they worked until they retired in 1966. And it was my dad was a tool and die maker for Western Electric. He ended up working blue collar. He was an educated man. He went to college. Took higher academics. He was going to try to be a doctor, but he couldn't afford to go to no fucking graduate school. I even tried to he went before the Arkansas State Board of Educators to try to get a loan. They accused my dad of cheating in college. Ain't no way nobody did that in 28 months. My dad did 4 years of college in 28 months. He majored in mathematics with a minor in physics and a minor in chemistry. And I said they brought in a chalkboard and the goddamn physics whatever, and fucking started asking questions, and he proved he knew his physics. And then they brought the chemistry teacher in, and my dad told me, I said, I didn't ever know that. I didn't ever took chemistry. I don't know a damn thing about it. I asked my dad one time, he said, son, that's 45, 50 older than you ago when I went to. He said, it's all based on acids and alkalines. I said, okay, I understand neutrals. He said, that you represent it, they draw. I said, what about all them lines? He said, those are chains of molecules and whatnot. He said, the only reason why I was good at it, he said, I could just see all that in my head. He said, if I knew what one, that's trying to sprinkle. If I knew what one molecule was and chain, and that molecule, he said, I could always remember what one looked like and what it was in my head. Kind of like Andy, he know, like if you was, like the difference between me and Andy is that motherfucker could sit there, and if you just name a tube, he probably in his head telling you, this pin and that pin's the filament, this pin and that pin's the grid, this pin and that pin's the plate collector, and whatever, and this type of tube you can only do this, and this kind of circuit usually goes this. See, I don't know all that shit in my head. I can build an amp. I know basically what's held me back in all the years that I thought I might build my own tube amp, and it is sprinkling, is I know there's going to have to be a proper layout, and I don't know that. And if you don't get your proper layout right, you're going to have a noisy piece of shit, and it's not worth my effort to sit down and be crazy like that and fuck it up. But once I learn proper layout, I can build an amp. I can buy a kit right now, follow every direction, and build that motherfucker. That ain't no problem. Do I know all about it? No. But I seem to ask these motherfucking questions to these motherfuckers that claim they know. They can't get a goddamn answer. I like to ask them, what's the difference between a Fender tone circuit and a Marshall tone circuit? How much difference is there in the value of this and that? Are the values the same? Is it a capacitor, LCR circuit, a resistor, capacitor, and a coil to make that tone circuit? What? Can't get an answer. It ain't no good. I'm better than that. That's all the kind of answer I get. Well, fuck it. I find out from my own folks, so quit asking them, motherfucker. My friend Matt's interested. Shit, I think Matt's got 14 different heads. He sent me a picture of what's that Satriani, JX or whatever Satriani come on model. It wasn't but about $300 fucking used, man. And I didn't want to buy it. I don't need another boat. I got plenty of boat anchors at my house, you know. And I can't say I love any of them. The one I like that I think sounds the best is a PB amp, and it's messed up. And I got a crate combo in there. Come to find out, all these years I was looking for fucking schematics for a crate. And first I started talking about tubes. And I'm asking AI about, that's why I go to questions to AI. Ow, you son of a bitch. And we're talking about tubes, and finally I told him, I said, yeah, I can't seem to find the schematics. And they asked me what, and they said that's because it's a Laney G60R, and that crate just slapped their logo on it when they started producing them in China. And I was like, well, no wonder. And I called Kratos Behringer up there in Washington State. And that dickhead I talked to didn't even fucking tell me that. That fucking dick should have told me. The cat's in the fucking barrel. No, I wonder why this fucking barrel was rolling. It was rolling. I thought the wind was blowing it or something. I was gonna move it out of my way. A fucking cat was in it. Kitty. And then when I picked it up, he jumped out. Yeah. Now I know what I need to do is I need to go on the internet and say, Laney G60R common problems. Because I lost the pilot light and lost no tube glows. And I've already been in it once. When I couldn't determine the damn computer tried to tell me there's a little teeny tiny fuse mounted soldered on the fucking circuit board, but the way that they described that fuse, they described it's about the size of a Zener diode. Well, fuck no, I don't think so, man. What the fuck? Yeah, put no tiny fucking fuse the size of a. That's what they tried to say. Well, see, that's why I went in and I said it's probably an internal fuse. I'll go look. I couldn't find a spot for a fuse. Or then again, maybe there is a spot in there with the fuse that wasn't blown by vision. Now, I might have put a meter on, I might not. Yeah, take it out and start checking. But anyway, yeah, I don't know proper layout. If you ask me, Hadley, what's the pins on it? Will you name a tube? Fuck, I don't know. Where's the fucking paperwork? You know, I got that much goddamn sense. Let me tell you one thing too. Your wire. Yeah, you look at the fucking schematic or whatever, it might show you pins, pin layout, which side are you coming from. You better watch out. You may read it one way and then be on the opposite side. Wired up, you're going exactly where the different. That's been, if I'm not mistaken, that's been a common fucking mistake. Or even being on the backside knowing, come on, man. Hey, come on inside. I said, okay. I had a bath the other day, and the next morning I got to loop when he was out in that back pasture back there. Goddamn motherfucker. Goddamn, you fucking ate up with fleas. I just cleaned you up. You're back there in the pasture. Of all the places. Man, it's starting to sprinkle. Shit. What do I not want wet? I love it. Look at these big pieces. Damn. See any of this stuff? I can make a big footstool or something out of some of this big ass shit. I'll tell you one thing. If it gets wet, then that's another excuse to fucking burn it, man. Burn that shit. I'll throw that on there and catch it off, but this is to be burned anyway. I don't have any paper up in it. I think I want to save this for that other side over there, and I can't even see. When I get over there, I know when I reach down the field, I know where I'm at, but I should have done better. I keep procrastinating. I'm the professional procrastinator of doing things that I know need to be done. I also look at it like this. If I'm out there doing it, there must be a reason, not yet. Maybe that's why he said, go in and rain on it. So Hadley won't save none of this shit. Hadley will say, it got wet. It's fucked up. Burn it. Now, all that, see, I'll just take this. Pull it under here. You're going to take it back there and burn it all. See, I wanted some of these long ones. Like that. And that. And that. And that. All the same size. I don't give a damn about all that. Or any of that. I don't give a damn about none of that. See, my dumb ass didn't get my ass and walk to the store or something. I just fucking don't feel like skating. I feel too bad. And I didn't go to the store today, which is about the story of my life. Can't get to a real fucking grocery store. And I didn't go get no bread. Barely got any coffee. Less than half a gallon of milk. But I'm gonna make it. See, I'm not getting out on the fucking skating. I'm not even going to skate to the store to get any cigarettes. My brother left me a pack. Now it's cool. Yeah, I told that motherfucker I needed to go to the grocery store. He not going to take me. And I wasn't going to sit there and beg him. But if I ask him, he acts like it's some kind of fucking difficult fucking goddamn thing to do. So I don't ask him. You know? That's what I've done learned a long time ago. You ask that motherfucker, if you do a damn thing. And now you've automatically gave him control to fucking rule your life. And here with the motherfucker mom's the same fucking way. You ask for some help, and that bitches will fucking not help. Just to be in control of you, keep you from moving on, getting what you're trying to do done and out of your way. You got other plans that's just it. They're so stupid that, hey, you realize that you're pulling the first rung out from under somebody, and then the next rung, they're goddamn just instantly disappear all the way up the fucking ladder. And that right there is, okay, you do know you're doing that. Well, then obviously that's by intent. You intended to do that. That's a fucking mental illness. That is a fucking mental illness. I intend to goddamn, I'm gonna do this and piss somebody off. I'm gonna fuck them off. You know what? I done learned. That girl Becky back there, she's the same fucking way, man. She stood me up so many times going to the grocery store. I don't know that's worse. She tries to smooth me out, you know, anytime she gets a chance. But that's fucking bullshit too. Oh my, look at that. Yo, man. What is it? It's heavy. That's what it is. Nope. There's a chip. See, that's why, see that chip? They'd even put pocket screw holes in it. Look, there's any screws in it. Can't see shit, Hadley. Get that out of my way. Man, I'm out here in shorts, dude. I'm lucky the mosquitoes ain't fucking me. I think one just got me on top of my thumb. Yeah, man, the wind's kind of blowing. That's fucking probably 70. That shit went crazy. Look, a couple weeks ago, it was fucking cold as hell. My goddamn heater wouldn't start. I tried to start it by hand, you know, and it run. And when it shut down and tried to start it, I needed a running capacitor. And I fucked around and fucked around. And then by the time I finally got a running capacitor in, and got put it all back together. Well, I still got to put the main lid back on. I got the cover on it. I got to put the main lid back on, but it's working. But about the time I fixed it, man, we've had like a week or two of fucking warm ass west. Like I said, right now, what time is it Central? It's fucking, the wind's blowing. I feel a little moisture in the wind, like a little humidity, and I feel it cooling off. But it's probably 70 degrees. Hell, it got up to about 74, 75, and it was cloudy all day. Damn, something might have been an ant got me on the back of my fucking thumb, because it's fucking still burning. I'm over here in the damn dark, standing in the goddamn ant bed. They move. I get them a lot. I got poison, and I get them a lot. I get them motherfuckers. But here all lately, there's been leaves, and they might have rebuilt somewhere, like over here under all this cardboard. I put all that cardboard to try to keep fucking grass from growing. So I got like a little pocket in there. Some of this was a high hill. I wanted this to be a high hill. And then actually that bed runs down that fence there. That comes behind that pole, and it kind of goes all the way along the fence. There is a bed. It's just turned back to ground again. And I dug it out, and I put a bunch of sticks and leaves and stuff back in it. The little pieces of, not big pieces, long fucking, I say trunks, no big trunk, big long sticks off of trees that I cut or that fell, even off that big ass tree right there. Motherfucker, sometimes that shit falls. I'll go back there and grab it and drag it back up here. What the fuck is that over there? That white thing? I don't know what it is. A piece of stump. There was some tractor out here today. Oh, it must have been the men back there in that water. They had that gate open. They had a big backhoe running around, and a big truck was back there. They came in this way, I think. Somebody cut on that pasture. That pasture was all tall. Somebody came cut on it. Let me see what else I got. Just dump it. Got it down light now. hate. Burn it, Hadley. Burn it, man. You got more coming. You don't need these short pieces. Well, you know what? Tomorrow I'll wake up and it'll hit me in my head, and I'm like, man, why'd I burn all that? I could have done this. I could have done that. Regret. You know, and if I told my brother, I need this, I need that, he would not bring it. If I told him, like this piece I'm burning right here, like that right there, see how big it is? And man, I need some pieces like this. You won't see him. He'll make sure you don't. Make sure you try to be in charge. I'm the one. I'm a rock star. That's what he said. I know he tried to tell me that. He keeps bugging me about fucking doing it. Oh, I'm getting back in it. I'm waiting on you. No, you ain't waiting on me, motherfuckers. Every fucking time I told you, hey, we need to get into the drama. You want to do this? He's a bullshitter. He's a bullshitter. He's going around telling everybody he's a singer. He used to sing. He was never a singer. And he hasn't fucking sung not a damn thing in years. And he's calling himself a fucking singer. And I'm sorry. But you're not. I worked professionally for 11 years. You are not a singer. You keep telling everybody you're singing, but you're not. You know? He don't do the work. A singer fucking practice. Whenever the singer's voice is going to be the strongest, as when a singer will practice, record, and hopefully be able to perform. A lot of times when you wake up in the morning, you're strong. Now, if you got to sing at night at the club, though, you better not say nothing in the morning or all day long. Don't say nothing. Try to be quiet. Drink water all day. He don't practice. He's not a singer. I'm not a singer. Hey, with somebody, he's a glory hound. He's one of the bar. He don't put forth any effort. Yeah, there's fucking ass I done got in him. Where'd I put that fucking can? Here it is. See if we can light this shit. Playing games about lighting. We're gonna make you melt your cigarette lighter before we light. Yeah, smoke. You know, kids nowadays don't build no damn tree houses. All right, some kids, they might have a cool dad. Hey, kids, you want to build a tree house? Yeah, Dad. And that's about the only situation. You might have a kid build a tree house. I'm trying to remember one time, see, I'm in northwest Louisiana, and our relatives live in Arkansas. One time, me and my mom went up to Arkansas, and someone we used to go to church with had moved to Memphis, Tennessee. And it's, I think it's just the other side of Little Rock. That highway that runs through Little Rock, whatever it is, 35, I can't remember. I think it's 35, it runs to Tennessee. Well, we were visiting on that off that highway, a little country town, and then we were there about 3 days, and then my mom called them people up, and they told my mom where they lived, and one day we just left and went we stayed that night when we got there. We stayed at their house, and it was in a new quaint neighborhood with houses about the size of this house right here. It was like a new neighborhood. There wasn't but like 1 or 2 streets, and right down it, and it was kind of out in the country because right down the road it was nothing but fields, like cotton field or whatever was out there. And at the end of that neighborhood was a brand new school. It was a big old square, big block building. A brand new school. You know, new architecture. It looked cool as shit. And he had a bunch of bicycles in his carport. And Mom and Dad had a bike, sisters had a bike, he had a bike, he had another bike, 10-speed, regular bike, this, that. There was plenty of bicycles to ride, you know. And me and him a bicycle, we were gonna go right up to the school. I think I was in the 3rd or 4th grade. Well, it was right down, there's like a little country highway right there by the school. And then you went down that country like you're running down the side of a fucking cotton field. And there was a little woods patch down on that end, like a wood line at the end of the other side of the field. We rode that highway till we got to that wood line, and then we got to go up in them woods there. So we pushed our bicycles across what little bit of cotton field we're by. We get up into the woods, up in Man, there was this fucking treehouse. It was the coolest fucking treehouse I ever saw in my life. It was a giant, like that oak right there. That's pretty big, man. But this tree was way bigger. And whoever, if the boys somewhere around there, either in that neighborhood or another nearby neighborhood, as far as we had to go from the school to get to that treehouse, and we were out, there wasn't no houses around. We were out kind of in the country. Somewhere else around there might have been a patch of houses where other people lived. I don't know. But it was a 3-story fucking treehouse up in there, man. And you had to climb up the side of the tree. Then you had to like reach out underneath the floor of the first floor. There was a hatch. It was open. But you had to actually reach your hands up inside the hatch and grab a hold of the edge and then pull yourself up in that hatch to get in it. You know, and you're, see how high that is to that first branch? Shit, it was 3 times that high, or 2 times that high to get to the fucking bottom of that treehouse. And they built it cool, man. They knew what they were doing. It was a big room, and another head inside it had a ladder on the wall, you know, a regular made out of wood, and went through another hatch, and there's another floor. And all the way up again, there was another floor. It had 3 rooms, man, all walled in, roofed, no light come in. And at the 3rd room on the top, it had a little hatch on it. I think it had a door, a hinged up little hatch door. And you could go out that hatch door. There was another fucking set of fucking climbing stairs up a pyre that led up to a crow's nest at the top of the tree. It was so fucking cool. And when they built it, like when we got up in there, there was a couch in it, but the couch was bigger than the hatch. And then we got up like to the next floor, or the top floor, there were mattresses up in them. And there wasn't there wasn't no way them fucking mattresses fit through those fucking holes. So I asked him, I said, well, how'd they get the couch in here? He said they fucking put the couch in before they built the walls or something. Put the wall up, they had the couch in here first. They were pretty smart, whoever did it. Fucking, that's what I'm saying. The kids nowadays, they too fucking stupid to do shit like that. These motherfuckers had ropes and pulleys and pull shit up, and probably had a whole gang of motherfuckers, 4 or 5 motherfuckers. Hey, yeah. And using bent nails and straightening them back up. Look out, dog. Look out, man. You want to come outside with us? Did you want to go out to the show? Yeah, they're taking bent nails and look, see what I'm talking about? I told my brother a couple months back, and bring me one of my Goodyear air hoses that are down in that shop. I got 4 Goodyear air hoses I bought. 2 of them are out of the package, brand new. 2 of them are still in their package, brand new. Bring me one of them. Hey, wouldn't that? Oh, I got me an air compressor. I got me an orange air hose. That's what I got. That's the response I got. And I started telling that motherfucker back in April. You see all this? You come outside? Come on, goddamn. I'm going in the back. Jackie, we're gonna go in the back. There it is. I got 2 of them. Ant for it. 14 ant for it. I got 2 of them. I was looking for one. There's one. Kelly brought me this shit. It's like you put it on the side of your house or a roof, and it's kind of like a new improved roofing or whatever. He said they were going to throw that shit away or something. It'd been on the back dock forever. He said, I just threw it in my truck. He said, I guess it was on the back dock to be thrown away. For everything else to be thrown away was where I got it from. So he brought it to me. See, I could build a frame. Well, if you just wanted to block something, you build a frame and cover it with that. I would say a greenhouse because it's black. Well, okay, well in the wintertime, you cover it with that black, and then you blackens with the heat. Couldn't that be considered to help? But if not if it's fucking 16 degrees outside. Where you gonna grow outside in the damn greenhouse at 16? See, the shit went out. This shit went out. You suck at me. Come on, motherfuckers. Oh, that's terrible. It went right out. It wouldn't like because it's moist. You got a little bit of sprinkle on. Sure is slow for the noise. It keeps telling me, device is locked, rotate device back. I don't give a damn if it's locked or not, I'll just turn the fucking phone sideways. I'm trying to light this piece of shit. There we go, let's get this plastic, see what we can do. Nothing? That plastic's got something in it that moves off of gas, it stops the oxygen, I do believe. It don't want to burn. I've made several attempts, it keeps acting stupid. What the hell is that? We'll just pretend. Yay, something. I was fixing to go out like the others. I said, ZZ Top's coming to the Hearst Coliseum. I forgot what the date is. I just saw it on my phone earlier. We were talking about ZZ Top, and then they say, I know, ZZ Top's coming here. I was talking to my brother about, back when I was in high school, that was one of the first concerts I went to without no adult supervision. It was a ZZ Top. It was the cheap sunglasses. Man, when they play live, man, these motherfuckers, you think the record sounds good. God damn, it was fucking honking. I mean, you get the feeling like a bugging, this is what dope smoking music really is when you feel it live. Honking, whatever. That's all these stupid fucking words to describe how something sounds. Damn, we got a fire going down in there now. We'll cover this shit up. Yeah, I was thinking about it. That I saw that tour. And then I'm trying to think about the next time they came. It was either the Antenna tour or which one, She's Got Legs, which I didn't really care for that. I just went to the concert because it was a concert. I saw that tour. And then when I worked as a stagehand, it was one show that I think they requested anybody, any deckhand, where they must be musicians. They must play guitar or, you know, have experience playing guitar. If they don't play guitar, they're not going to be a deckhand. Because it was me and Greg that, usually I run a fucking spotlight at the big guy. And they always want to stick me on the #1 spot because it's a broke machine, it don't feed. And you have to sit there and manually feed it and pay attention to it. And You know, if it gets too short, it will go out on you. You gotta restrike that motherfucker. Every time you strike it, it fucking splatters the mirror because the guard's missing. And it's a fucking junk machine. And that was one of the machines that, out of all the machines up in there, that's the most fucked up machine. And it's like certain people knew it was fucked up. I knew how to run it, and they're the ones that taught me. And I always got stuck on it. You couldn't have put none of them other motherfuckers that I worked with on that machine, and they would have not been successful. That's why I always had to be stuck with it. But that one concert that we worked ZZ Top, that's one of the only concerts that I ever worked where they said, Hadley, you're on deck. And Greg Pyatt, you're on deck. Well, Greg's the one got me. And they needed somebody to work way back in 96 is when I got hired. The first gig I ever worked on my birthday. I turned 33. It's weird. On my birthday, I turned 33. It was the first day I worked for the union. What the fuck is that, man? What is that? What is that? It looks like a piece of garlic or something. And it was in the ground. Or a piece of potato. I don't know what it is. I stepped on it. Maybe it's a fucking mud ball. No, it's going. Anyway, that's a trip because when I was in high school, and we used to always meet up everybody from school. We had a certain spot. We did under M for marijuana, or under H for head, or something like that. I forgot. And everybody would meet up, sit together. I never imagined I'd been down there on that stage when the house is fucking full. Me and Greg, when we broke the first band out and got them off stage and broke their shit down, and then we started getting ZZ Top on, you know, the road guy, he goes, hey man, the guitar amps are last. That's the fucking forte. And as soon as y'all finish the bass and the drums, and then you come get the guitar shit. Well, it was some orange cabinets and some orange heads, but they weren't real. They were made out of foam and painted. They look like real shit. He said, make sure it looks like it's heavy now. Y'all don't just come in there and throw that shit like it's nothing, like it's paper. Hell, I picked that fucking part. I said, it's already heavy, man. What do you mean pretend it's heavy? It ain't quite as heavy as a 412 cabinet, but it was almost as fucking heavy as a 412 cabinet. I mean, Greg towed it out there. We come up the back deck, and then we come around, and we're toting it out there and setting it and acting like, putting the second one on top and putting the head, even the head was fake. It goes on the floor out back, right off the deck, on the concrete floor. He had, it was the raggedy ass Fender Twin I ever seen in my whole fucking life, man. It didn't hardly have, anywhere it had some Tolex, it was just little tiny threads of shred with glue under it, big chunk of glue where the glue was real thick there. And everywhere else across that fucking Fender Twin, the goddamn raggedy motherfucker you couldn't count the fucking cigarette burns across the top. Drink circles, rings, beer, whatever, all across the top. And then he had a pedal board with about 8 distortions. And that Fender was mic'd. And it was on the concrete floor, down behind the whole stage, and then on the floor. It's a trip. That's your sound. I worked Godsmack. All them boys back were playing. It was Godsmack, Stained, and Cold. Well, all 3 bands were sharing heads. They had a little team on. We set up a whole bucket. Like when the drums are set on stage, there's a curtain behind the drummer. Well, we had about fucking 20 feet behind that curtain. And a whole fucking goddamn service. There was benches. We built. They brought shit with the road gear that we built these work benches all the way across the whole backside of the fucking stage, except for where the stairs were. These motherfuckers had tube testers, Mesa boogies tore down, oscilloscopes. They were. And they all had triple rectifiers. I told him, I said, hey man, you ever have trouble out of them triple rectifiers? He just rolled his eyes. That dude just rolled his eyes. Anyway, it was after lunch, man. I went by the office. I said, I don't know why I had to go by our office in the Coliseum, and our president was back there. He's running his steward running that gig. I said, Hadley, you know them guitar techs? I said, yeah. He said, well, take these 2 boxes to them. Federal Express just dropped them off. And there's a great big box, and that fucking big box is probably about 2.5 by 2.5 by 2.5 feet, or maybe a little bigger. And there's a long box. It was about almost 3 foot long. They're probably about 8 inches tall and about 10 inches wide, long. I went up on deck. I said, ho, 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 guess what? It's Christmas time. And I looked on the label, and whoever the guy's care of, whoever the tech was, it had said care of his name. I said, Santa Claus. I said, Santa Claus from Meridian, Mississippi. And oh yeah, I said, for so-and-so, so-and-so. And he was fucking so happy. They had ordered some tubes from BB to arrive at that show. Look at that. Look where the fire's getting away. They're getting away over there going towards. And I asked him, I said, man, why you order tubes from people? He showed me. He said, look here, look up in the light. They were rebranded. They were rebranded tubes. He even got, it had their brand on it, but he showed me in real faint, the actual brand of the tube. I forgot what it was. They were either, I think they, wherever PB got their shit from. They were either Groove Tube or JJ or I can't remember. I don't even remember. See, back then, I never heard of JJ. I never heard of JJ tubes till I started looking at YouTube. That was the first time I ever. And then knowing that that's all they got down there at Guitar Center, and then having bought some and used them. Ain't nothing special to me. The best tubes I ever had that I thought were special were made by Tesla. And man, I have never heard a tube sound so fucking good. And Glenn Pricker will tell you, oh, tubes don't matter. Man, fuck. How long have you been playing, Glenn? How long have you been fucking with tube amps? Because I started collecting tubes out of fucking every goddamn radio, stereo, and TV I could get back in the 70s. And he's gonna do, oh, tubes don't matter. Bullshit. They do matter. Fucking ain't no tubes off the same assembly line. They goddamn are gonna be exactly fucking alike. If you do, you've got a good batch. And sometimes a good batch will spit off. If each part does what it's supposed to. That's just it about JD. My opinion is they're just generic. There's nothing special about them. They're not putting forth any kind of extra money or effort to actually make a higher quality than generics needed, than what's needed to goddamn do the job. And like my dad used to say, son, all it has to do is amplify. You know, look how this shit's all trying to get away. You see it? Every bit of it. There we go. Don't want to go out. Oh yeah, if you ever watch those Street Outlaws or whatever, Pinks or something like that, one of them TV shows where them boys are racing out here in Shreveport. I think they're racing down at the DeSoto Airport. Not tonight, but I mean, sometimes they hold events. One of them TV shows was filming all that shit on satellite. And Steve Ramsey, he was part of it. He lives like on the highway over there. The highway that on the way to the Family Dollar. Sometimes when I'm sitting back here in his garage, his big shop, or his shop at his house, it's got like 2 bays, 2 big 20 foot, 25 foot tall bay doors, roll-ups, side by side. And then the other half of the building is the same size as that. He's got a stage, his drums, a backdrop, some PA lights, and a deck. And the deck's about, I don't know, 2.5, 3 foot off the ground. It's pretty deep. It's every bit from my fence to about that ladder is probably the tree. That's about, I say that ladder to the fence. That's about how deep his deck is. And it only goes probably, that building's only probably from about that pole right there all the way down to that telephone pole. That's about how wide it is. So he's got his drum set in the middle. There's plenty of room over here. You could put keys, bass, you had plenty of room. Guitar, whatever. There's plenty of room up there. Plenty of room out front too. His drum platform don't go. He's still got a little more than half of the deck in front of his drum platform. I don't know what he's playing. Every time he's changed drums, like the wind blows. One time he hit electronics. One time he had some fucking silver. The whole kit was chrome. I think that's what he's got now. He went back to some kind of chrome kit. They sound good. Now, he's a good drummer, but he's not a professional. Because he led me on telling me he wanted me to play, and it was just a bunch of bullshit. Well, what happened is the first time I went over there, Jeff Joyner came over. Jeff Joyner used to sing in another band around here, and he knows Steve. I don't know how he called me on the phone probably. He was over there at Steve's. Jeff came over here and got me, and all I had at the time was only big amp I had was a MG 100 solid state, and that's not like Hadley. But it came across me. Somebody brought it to me, and they only wanted $45 for the head. I said, sold. I bought it just because it was 100 watt. Not that I wanted a Marshall solid state. And then the same guy later on, he found me a cabinet on Facebook or Craigslist that was for $150. And it was like damn new. It didn't have no scratch. It hadn't been took out on the road, or hadn't been no clothes. Been in the guy's house. And come to find out he lived in the woods down there. Right on down, about 6 miles down or 7 miles, about as far from here as town, farther out towards Texas. And I went out there and I saw it. I only paid $150 for an MG slanted. That's a good deal, ain't it? So I got a MG 100 head and an MG slanted cabinet for less than $200. And you go to Facebook Marketplace, everybody wants $400 for their MG half stack. Probably like me, they got it for $200 and turn around selling it for $400. I got a pretty good fire going. It's burning down the way. And still that hole's not filled up. It's deep. And believe it or not, along the fence, there was a hole along that fence. It's just that I filled it with sticks and I filled it with grass. And I guess fucking regular grass this summer took over because I didn't ever come back here and till on it again. But either before this winter sets in, or if not, after winter and spring, I'm coming back here, I'm tilling every bit of this from that pole all the way down the fence line. Then I'm gonna till another one, like where this ditch is, I'm gonna till another one right on this side. And the one I till on this side is where I'm gonna shovel it out and throw it back over on these piles. And what I shovel out is gonna be a drain where water runs from there all the way back, and I want to turn it around, and I'm running it back around here because I'd already cut one here. I didn't cut it deep, I just had cut one. It's already grown back. You see I'm going downhill. Watch out for that lawnmower. And it goes out going downhill, and you can look, it goes under this gate. There's a gate here. Look at this gate. I've got I tilled it out already a couple years ago. There's a ditch going all the way to the ditch by the road. Water was flowing all through the backyard, right straight to the middle of front of this patio. All the water, like right here where I'm walking. All this is low area right in here. And then it was all flowing when it rained real hard, and all flowing right here to this patio. And what did it do? Well, let's see, there's a big old crack around here somewhere. That crack go. Several cracks. Here's one. There's one right here. See that crack? This fucking whole fucking back patio tried to float. And when it floated, either it made the crack or the crack was there, and then after it floated, the crack got bigger. It just settled back down. And now when it rains real hard and water floods up in here, you sit there and watch that water drain into that crack. I know what it's doing. It's draining down in this crack underneath the patio. It's going under the house, trying to make its way to the road. What it's really doing is it's running under here, under the slab. I know exactly what it's doing. This fucking water's running under the slab when it overrains too much. That's why I cut this ditch, to try to take some of the pressure off. And it does. But it's running under the house. And it's running under this driveway. See that crack? See that crack? I don't know how that got missing. See that little bitty missing spot right there? Where is it? Right there where my shoe is. There's a missing spot. I don't know how that come up missing. See that crack? Or we can go down the way. Uh-oh, there's another crack. Right there. Oh my goodness. Let's go on down the way. There's a seam where it is made. Grass growing in it. Come on down. Here's another crack. Right here. You can't see it for the light. Let's do messages. This is community. I want to see all messages. Hey man, I have made fire. Hi Amber. Yeah, I gotta get rid of that shit, man. I'm not gonna use it. Look at that. There's a big old crack. There's the crack right here. Oh, the crack's right here on the end of the driveway. Here's what the deal is. A UPS comes out to this guy's house right here, and then Amber gets a lot of Federal Express, and whoever that he'll stop on the road, take their shit up there, and I use my driveway to turn around in. And when it pulls in the driveway, that big ass truck hits his brakes. You know, and it starts to back up. Boom, boom, boom. Well, there's a crack right here. Got my hand on it, running back and forth, and then this big motherfucker right here. It's got a goddamn avalanche drop off like a fucking cliff. This whole piece, since it got cracked out, that's why there's a big old cliff along there. Hell, that's being that high like that. I just skated over this the other day. That cliff wasn't there. That's fucking crazy, y'all. This cliff right here, it wasn't here. I could skate smooth all the way across this driveway. Now there's a goddamn cliff. That means this piece is falling in. This piece right here is falling in. Okay, there's a ditch. Let me get back here and see if you can use what light I got. Can't see shit. All right, there's the house. When you get right here, see this tall grass? Well, that's where the drainage tunnel goes underneath the front yard. Everybody else has a ditch in their front yard, and whoever had owned this house, they put a tunnel in. And it's always bare. I let the grass grow all summer. I cut it on high setting when I did cut it, kept it tall. Because every summer has been a damn red clay bare spot going across the top of that tunnel. Ever since he moved in this fucking house, I've cut his grass. A few times he's cut his own grass, but he always asked me to cut it for him. And that's right where that drainage tunnel runs under. Like, see, Jack, you can't see, Jack. It's just too fucking dark. And you can't adjust the color on this motherfucking camera. Or can you? Anyway, the fucking driveway's cracking. Right where that fucking tunnel. Just upside the tunnel. And right over the top of that drainage tunnel. That fucker's been banging. Like I said, them big ass fucking Federal Express and UPS trucks. He pulls in my driveway and hits the brakes and puts the lunge. As a matter of fact, the corners out by the road, that motherfucker has hit it one time and I could hear it sounded like it was cobbling, like it cobblestone. So that told me that that's who's tearing it up. Those big trucks. But I tell you what, if I had the money, I think what I'd like to do well, thank you. That's Amber, that's Jackie. Look, Amber, I'll tell you the story about Jackie. Where Angela lives across the street. See, that house, whoever remodeled it before she moved in, it was a black man, older black man carpenter, and a helper. And he redid the whole kitchen cabinets. That carpenter made those cabinets in that house. And really, man, when it comes down to it, that's the baddest motherfucking kitchen up and down here, because that's what you want. If the carpenter makes your cabinets, that's some badass kitchen cabinets, man. Unless he's just a shitty ass carpenter. But like my brother's house, that's them kind with the fucking bullshit. You know, the inside of the fucking is all like sawdust wood. Well, multi-density fiber. Well, hey, cat, don't be in the road. Dad and that cat ran out there and got something. But the guy that used to live in Angela's house, it was either before Angela or before them, he had a race car, like a short track car. And I told Matt, he'd get out there and beat, bang, bang on that fucking car. He might start one day. He'd beat, bang all day. Beat, bang, bang all night. Beat, bang, bang all day. Beat, bang, bang all night. Beep, beep, bang, bang. Like 4 or 5 fucking days in a row, that motherfucker was out there night and day, night. And I told Matt about it. Matt said, he's on that shit, boy. Well, they're the ones that drug this dog up. I think it was May 14th, 2014 or something like that. Jackie's, how old are you? Jackie, 11 years. So take 11 years from now. 10 from now would be what, 2015. 11 would be 2014, so I'm right. Well, I remember the day they got that puppy. He's a little old bitty thing, and the hair was around his neck, was all long. And he had a punk hairdo. The hair on top was like punked up. And then he had 2 Fu Manchus, and he wasn't but about half as big as he is now. Huh, Jackie? And I looked out the window when my dogs were barking, and he was out in their front yard, just a little puppy. I guess it was old enough to come home from its mama in May. And my dog was barking through the window. I went and looked. At the time, I had Mr. Rudy. Mr. Rudy, we had to put him to sleep when he was 13, 2020. 22, 23, something like before Susan killed herself. Anyway, I looked at that dog across the street and I knew what kind of people they were. Hell, one time they were gone and the little baby pig got out and I fucking brought it home. I had that pig in my living room. It was sleeping with this other dog I had for about 3 or 4 days before them people ever came back home. I gave them their baby pig back. Anyway, it disappeared. Jackie, I call him Jackie. They disappeared from their house. And I guess they weren't responsible enough to go find him. Well, it was October. I was back there in the neighborhood, man, and I seen there's an S-turn that leads to the trailer park back there. There's a trailer. These are all houses on this end. There's a trailer park back there. The old part when you come in is old houses all the way back to the 50s. This is all new from the 80s. And the trailer park back there is from the 80s. And I was on my way from Girl's house back there, coming back. Come up the S-curve, it's going uphill out of a bottom. And as I got out of that curve, this little dog, he was out there in the road. He had a little red softball, a little red cushion. It was a little cloth softball toy. He barked at me. I told him, I said, look here, buddy, you better get out. People will fly through that S-curve, man. He's out in the road. They'll run right over him. I told him that too. I said, look here, man. You know, it's one thing playing. I see you like you got your ball, huh? You playing, huh? Whose dog are you? I said, you better get out of this curve. You're going to get run over. Well, a couple weeks later, I was leaving my brother's house. And I could see all the way down the street about where that dog was playing. And as I was going home one day, I looked down there and there was some people out there. And I could see that dog down there. And so I decided to I rode down there on my bicycle. I said, hey, y'all, whose dog is that? I was going to tell them, hey, your dog was out in the street. You know, it's going to get run over in this S-curve. They're going to come flying through this S-curve. They're going to get you. Hell, I'm about run over me on my skates just coming down through that S-curve because he's going so fast. He's taking up all the room he wants and not being fucking courteous of a motherfucking pedestrian in the street. Anyway, they said he'd been hanging around for 4 months. They had him on Facebook and everything. Lost and found. Whose dog? Your dog. I asked the man that some people were out in the yard and out in the street and by the street. That's how come I saw people down there and I saw the dog too. And I asked the man, I said, you been feeding it? And he said, oh no, I don't want it up here. And that little girl said, I fed it some cat food. I said, well, where does it live? He said, well, one morning I got up, it was raining, he was under my car. I was getting ready to go to work. I said, good thing he decided when I came out, he came out from under the car. He said, sometimes across the street, you see that bush? It was raining one morning, and he was sleeping under that bush. And I said, man, I'm going to take this dog, go find him. Because I picked him up on my bicycle and carried him home. And I was going to try to find him somebody that would, you know, be glad to have this dog. I didn't realize he'd come from over at Beep Beep Bang Bang, Dopehead's house. But after a while, I put it together. Because the first thing I did when I got him is I took some scissors and I cut his punk hairdo out, and it never grew back, so I should have left it. It stuck up like a fucking mohawk, man, right there in him, like he was just all frizzy. He looked like one of them kind of dogs with the hair all fucking stuck up. It was a little ugly looking dog. And he had the 2 Fu Manchus. See, he don't even have them anymore. They all grew out. They're gone. Doctor said he was about 4 months old when I found him. And Dr. Gill was right, because like I said, he was a little bit older. I found him in October. And he came over. He came to them people's house, and I put it together later. I got to think about, man, that's that same little bitty ass fucking dog. See, when they brought this dog home, them people across the street, when I first saw it, he looked like a line around his head. The fur stuck way out around his head, and then he had that fur stuck out around the top of his head. Then he had them two little Fu Manchus, and he was just a little old bitty thing. He kind of ugly with that punk hairdo. That's why I took some scissors and cut him out. And then he had a little bit of, on the ends of his ears, it was kind of like long and scraggly, ugly looking, kind of frizzy, sticking out, fuzzy, kind of like the punk hairdo was too. I cut all that off. And see, none of that I cut off ever tried to grow back. None of it. Jackie don't get to go nowhere. Nobody takes him in the car. He likes to go in the car. But he got to go somewhere. When you take him, you need to let him out and go TT, huh, Jackie? Look, the cat done got down under here. And I mean, this feral motherfucker, he always wants to get all up in my lap, get all up under me and beg me shit. But if I start, look, he'll bite the shit out of me. He bites me. And then he don't just bite, he draws fucking blood. I never had a cat draw so much fucking blood out of me till I got this motherfucker. I mean, I've been scratched and I've been bit and maybe blood before, but this motherfucker every day, this motherfucker claws and bites me and draws blood. He's a feral cat. He's super feral. Well, his mama, my friend Matt, this girl he works with, her and her husband, they live in an RV at an RV, or the girl does, and the mama cat had the fucking baby kittens up under her RV, and she finally got the baby cats, you know, and she started nursing them when they were still babies, and eventually caught the mama cat in a trap, and then started feeding the mama cat in the cage, you know, inside her house, and the cat finally trusted her. Now, you know, it's a cat, house cat, again, instead of being a cast out feral cat. And there was about 4 males in the neighborhood, so no telling who the daddy was, or daddies. And Matt asked me one day, Hadley, you want a cat? I said, you got a black cat? He said, no, black and white cat. And he said, there ain't but 3 girls and 1 boy. He told me the story, and he said, I'm getting a female. It's white, and he's got calico patches and spots. Got a big round circle of calico here, big round circle of calico there, but it's basically a white cat. It looks cool with these little spots, big, you know, kind of big spots, like 2 or 3 inch spots. And like one might be got brown and black in it, and then it's on a white cat. It's funny. Hey man, you skitty out here? Huh? You skitty? Ow, don't you bite me. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Oh, he's quick. I was fucking with him the other night with a toy and he couldn't get it at all. I was good, I wouldn't let him get it. But today he was fucking getting it. He ain't brought no mice up. There ain't none around. The only reason why there's mice or rats around, if there be any, there really ain't a problem that I know of in this neighborhood. The reason why there would be is if people pile their trash up. Like they got their trash, they take it outside their house or in their carport, and they just pile it up and pile it up and pile it up and don't get rid of it. Then that's when the rats and the mice come. Oh shit, look. I could have had the fucking whole goddamn back pasture on fire. I've done it before. It was some motherfucker to get it out. I ended up using that fucking 5-gallon bucket and smashing it out, and that 5-gallon bucket was all fucking melted after I got it all out. And if it wasn't for my neighbor, I had it going back here. The wind was coming out of the south like it is tonight. And I just had a burning pile going. And what happened is it did a whoop reverse and just sucked the ashes and shit back out and hit the fence line. And the fence line caught, you know, and once it started catching along the fence line, it burned down this way and that way. And then it all crossed the fence line. Well, Jack, my neighbor next door, his daughter just happened to her and her boyfriend come over. And when she got there, she went up in the kitchen where that light is, you know, over there on that house. See that light on? That's the kitchen window. She just had to be washed, got in there, and she needed to wash her hands. And she looked out the window and saw the pasture on fire. She called me up on, Hadley, Do you know the back pasture's on fire? I fucking panicked like see, but I had a lot of rainwater barrels, and I had a bunch of 5-gallon buckets, and I was scooping up rainwater and coming out here and going running back and scooping up and carrying that big heavy fucking 5-gallon bucket out and putting water on it. And it's like, I ended up just beating the fire out with the bucket. It was a lot faster putting it out with the bucket than going to get that water. Because even throwing the water on it, I was like throwing a bunch in a panic. It really wasn't doing much, man. Water hose would have worked. What I should have done is had a goddamn water hose stretched out right here ready to go and when I started this fire, and I'm stupid not doing it. But I do have a 5-gallon bucket up there with water in it I could go get if I needed to. And one other big barrel, a couple trash cans full of water. Matter of fact, that one trash can's water so black I need to do something with it. Take that black water and put it on the garden or something. Yeah, man, it's like 70 degrees, man. You can feel the chill, and you can feel a little humidity in that cold. And it was sprinkling just a second ago. It quit. But, and the wind's blowing. You see the leaves and stuff moving. Maybe. Not blowing hard there. You see it moving. It's blowing a little bit, but it's not hot. I mean, it's not cold. I'm out here in shorts, y'all. See? I'm wearing shorts. T-shirt. That's fucked up. There you go. There's your Louisiana winter, Hadley. There won't be no white Christmas around this motherfucker. All my life. Ever since I was a kid. You're supposed to wake up and see snow on Christmas. I mean, in my book, and where we live at, it's a fucking river valley. And the barometric pressure to make good snow, it has to be at a certain temperature. And the barometric pressure has to be at this certain number and rising. And the way the atmosphere does over this area right here never does make a good condition of that. And all the snow either. Well, most of it will like come down, hit Dallas, and then it'll run back up the I-30 corridor, and it'll hit Texarkana. It's about 90 miles north, and it'll run on back east towards y'all, where up New York, wherever, head that way, and it goes right up through I-30 corridor to hits Little Rock and Pine Bluff, Crime Bluff or whatever. And I don't really pay attention to where it goes to past that, but it never comes down here. But in all the years I've lived here, I think it was 2019, it was the most baddest ass snow I've ever seen. I mean, when it got started, it's snow blowing a little bit. It wasn't a lot. It don't snow here. But the little bit in the afternoon when it started, it was fucking 26 degrees or something, it seemed like. I don't know, I forgot how cold. But like I said, it has to be a certain temperature for that snow to make. And it has to be a certain rising at a certain number of barometric pressure to make it freeze into a snowflake. But the shit was blowing sideways, man. This summer we had some rain, and our goddamn rain was blowing fucking sideways, man. It wasn't rain falling down. The shit was going down the road. It was going past my house like a fucking car. It wasn't going past my house and falling to the ground. It was going past the house and going down the fucking road, raindrops. And that snow was doing that shit. And you know, in the last couple times, here it's trying to sprinkle again. And the last couple times that we did have some snow around here, it always would start about 4:30 in the afternoon. A little spit, a tiny little spit here, a little spit there. If the wind's blowing, you see it going through the wind. Normally it would be falling. But like I said, the last time I saw it, that shit was going sideways. And then, if it was just a little, but if they said it's going to do it, then later at night, like I said, it'd start spitting about 4:30, but later at night, my goddamn, that shit would be falling and falling and falling. Well, in February, the last time I saw it snow like that, it was the biggest snow we ever had. And it was strange because the next day, I'm talking about the road had 4 or 5. You live up north. Yeah, okay, yeah, right. I know it. I know you live up north. It fucking snows. Down here, it don't fucking snow. But when we go to the fucking Family Dollar store and we got to go uphill to get out of the neighborhood, and then we can't get back in the neighborhood, there's fucking 3 or 4 inches of white on the goddamn road, frozen. The driveway had 3 or 4 inches of froze on top of it. Everything was fucking hard, froze over. These country roads, luckily there was a man down the road. He had his tractor out that day and he pushed us back to the driveway, but we couldn't get in the driveway because it goes uphill. Barely goes uphill. I got smart. I went and got a shovel and just dug out where his tire, his right side. I just went and dug a path out and I said, all right, I'll push, you just go. And I pushed him up in it, and he got that back tire got on it, and he drove right up in the driveway. I said, all right, it's over with. Now we can go inside. But y'all, I got up the next morning, and about 8 o'clock the next morning, and it was like the most fucking snow I ever saw. And it was strange because I could look at every fucking tree around, and even the little teeny tiny fucking pine needle sticking off the top of the tree, it had snowflakes all over every little teeny tiny branch, little twig on a tree. Snowflakes were stuck to it. I ain't never seen nothing like that. So, okay, it's all quiet. And any which way out here is woods. At the end of my street, woods. On the other side of that neighborhood, woods. There's woods, man. Well, when it snows around here, mostly we have ice storms or freezing rain, and we have had snow. When I was little, the first snow I saw was like 3/8 of an inch. Everything was white and blanketed, but it wasn't but 3/8 of an inch. And y'all live up north. Yeah, y'all got snow. That ain't shit, 3/8 of an inch. But this last snow we had, usually what I'm saying about, it was all quiet. You can hear shit breaking and falling. Whenever it snows around here, and we have any kind of a fucking snow, my dad used to say, son, don't go off in the woods. You're going to end up getting killed. Branches are breaking and falling out of the trees. And you could hear them. And you could go to the woods and be... That big snow we had in February that time, I sat out in the front yard, out in the driveway, and I listened, and I listened. And I said, man, that's strange. I don't hear not a goddamn stick break, nothing. Not a goddamn breaking, nothing. That wasn't, every time all my life, I've always heard shit breaking. That one snow, nothing was breaking. That's weird. I mean, I told everybody I knew. I said, look here, man, that snow's not, something ain't right. I said, yeah, not a goddamn thing fell. I didn't hear nothing. Usually you'll hear shit fall. You know, usually you're not supposed to go in the woods when it snows around here, because the shit'll be cracking and breaking, and you might be walking and shit'll come right down and stab through your fucking head. You know, you'll be dead. And then there's no one know you out there in the fucking woods will find you till springtime or something, until somebody finally decides they're gonna go back there. I don't mind it, man, as long as when you're dressed for it, it's all right. Damn, who knocked that upside down? What you want? Where you going, Jackie? Jackie. Jackie, you sing? Jackie. Jackie, sing. Sing, Jackie. What you say? Sing. You don't want to? You want to go inside? Did you want to go back inside? Did you want to go inside? Want to go back inside? Huh? Huh? Come on, Jack. You stay outside? You gonna go down the street? You better not go down the street. What other shit can we drag up? I need to drag another barrel back around here and just go and fill it up with this shit. And I don't need to get 2 fires going in 2 spots so I can't see both of them. I'd like to, but fucking wind's blowing. And go ahead. Oh yeah, man, let's build a fire. Goddamn, get in trouble. I told my brother, this is a fucking sunflower stalk that I let dry. This mother, you can break it and everything, but this motherfucker's damn near a steak. It don't weigh a lot. You can break it and it can be broke, but it's like a steak. It's fucking firm. I told him. I said, man, some of these down there, I'm gonna cut the branches off, save it for a steak. I don't need a fucking steak. Look at all these fucking steaks. Boy, I must be a fool. Wait, what? What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? I know he's doing. He's a piss of shit in that flower bed. That's his specialty. Getting in my flower. Uh-oh, get Jackie. Oh, attack Jackie. Oh. Go get him, Jackie. Go get the kitty. Get the kitty. I don't even know what time it is. This thing don't present a time when I've got the camera going. Camera. Hey, look down the street. Christmas. Let's see down here. You can see, kind of see down there. Yeah, look a long ways. Can't see it on this camera. It's way down. The very last light you see way down there. There's some Christmas lights. They got some multicolored LED. And then it looks like, I don't know if that's LED on that last house down there or incandescent. 2 or 3 houses down there with Christmas lights. And then there's one, that one, he's got the white down there. And the people this side of him's got some going in their windows. You can almost see that stuff in their windows. It's like the white LED cold look. It's a different. See how the one's yellow on that side of the house, and the one this side of it, and that's their windows of the next house, I think. I hadn't walked down there and looked. Sometimes I'll take the dogs. I'll skate down there and get the dogs to follow me. I haven't been down there in a while. See, what I could do is at the dead end street, it turns left and somebody's got a trailer back here in this pasture, on that end of the pasture. But they don't live there right now. I think they're in prison or something. And there's a high line. This high line right here where these power lines are going over. It runs all the way back to that other neighborhood back there. And that other neighborhood is called Eagle's Nest. Well, the way in that other neighborhood is right in front of the fucking Family Dollar. You know? And if I have gone that way, but this little high line that runs through the woods here during the summer, it was overgrown. They just got some kind of bush hog in here and cut this and down that trail. I don't know if that trail down there is cut open or not. But like I had several times carried my skates and walked down that high line till I got to the houses. I got to walk back behind 3 or 4 houses to go around them to get to the street. And I put my skates on, and it's downhill into that neighborhood, so I got to skate uphill out of that neighborhood. But by the time I get to the end of that street, man, I'm right at the family. It's like I say, if I have to go by street, it's like 2 miles. And I think if I go that way, it's probably 1.5 miles. Let me think. Yeah, because if you were, like I said, there's a highway over there that I have to go down to get to the Family Dollar. And where this house is, the general store that I have to go, general store's 1 mile, the general store's back over that way. And to get out of this neighborhood, I have to leave my house, go down my street, turn back, go back, and then go back that way. And I'm at the general store. That's 1 mile. Then it's 1 mile to the Family Dollar. So right about where this house is, if you went straight back to that highway, I'd say it's maybe 3/4 of a mile to the Family Dollar. So that means from right here to that neighborhood, that's about 3/4 of a mile. And it's probably almost a mile or a mile back out of that neighborhood. So it saves a little time if I could get this way. I did hear about proposals they were going to connect this neighborhood to that neighborhood, but that neighborhood over there, the houses are more expensive than these. And then this neighborhood is connected to the trailer park back there. So it would probably devalue that neighborhood's houses. They're all bigger and a little bit fancier. These houses here, my friend Greg, he helped build these. John Gregory Presley Edwards has left the building. He told me that these were witness protection program houses. The man that built these, his name was Keith Howard. He was the builder. He was the crook. And he got some kind of deal where he built these houses, they're government houses, witness protection program. That's what Greg told me. But my brother's not in the witness protection program, and I don't know nobody up and down through here that's in the witness protection program. So it was some kind of deal. It was a money fucking thing. And these houses are made worthless like a fuck. These fucking carpenters, fucking half the carpenter help, they wasn't but 15 years old that built these fucking houses. Look at all that shit up there. The roofers came and changed the roof for Kelly paid for. And I guess from beating on the roof, look at all the soffit fall out. I see you beat the soffit out of the house. You see it up there open? I probably got birds and bats and bugs up in the attic. This one ain't so bad. You know why it come apart? Because them bastards shot a nail gun just straight in with a brad nail. Hit it once straight in. I told them, you know, they didn't even try to angle to, like, usually you want to lock it. You want to put some fucking glue on it. A real carpenter, you put glue on it. If you're going to use brad nails, put some glue on it. Then when you brad nail, you shoot one in to hold it. You shoot two in at opposite angles, at an angle. That's locking that motherfucker in. I said, you go on down the way and you one at one angle and one at another angle. One at one angle and one at... That's some bitch when the glue dries and them brads are at angles. It is never going to fucking come apart. But the bastards that built this motherfucker wasn't even that goddamn smart. Fuckers. So I took shop class. Believe it or not, let me ask you something. How many carpenters you know build a house and use glue? And probably none. But you're supposed to use carpenter's glue. That's how it seemed like I learned that in school. I hated shop class, man, because there was 2 books to the series, and one was like residential construction. And you built a little dollhouse, like a half a house had a roof on it, had a wall on it, and then you did this kind of carpentry on the wall and that kind of carpentry, and you put this on it and that on it, and then you went to some competition. It was basically like a fucking piece of wood, a display. It was kind of dumb. But there was another book that from the same series. It was called Industrial Construction. And the other junior high, on the other side of the fucking school line, the boys up in Southern Hills that I know, they went to Ridgewood. And at Ridgewood, they didn't have shop class. They had that other book. And in their book, they got to build model rockets. And I was already a model rocketeer when I was in junior high school. I had rockets at home. I already built flew rockets. And I thought that shop class sucked. That teacher in there, Mr. Latham, he didn't like me. I was in a group. He put one of them dumb boys that I didn't even really care about how, didn't even say 2 things to the whole time I was in school. He was the leader of the group I got stuck in. All that fucking book work. And I know one thing, I was buying, hey, you gotta get your book work called. I was a black man, Mr. Latham. You gotta get your book work called, McIntyre. And I remember trying to hurry up and get my book work called so I'd go back there and at least go back there to the shop, build some shit like everybody else. And I missed some questions. And one of the questions, here's the only thing I'm going to tell y'all I learned out of shop class in 8th grade, is who's responsible for setting the doors in the residential construction? That was a question that I missed. And he even showed me in the book where it said it. And I read that shit. I didn't give a damn. I already built a fucking house. I cleared property when I was 9, built a house, moved in when I was 12, and then still cleared property all my fucking life. So I didn't give a fuck about building no house. I already built a fucking house. But it's the master carpenter. That's what the answer to that question that I missed on that test. And since I missed it and he put a big issue on it, I've never forgotten it. It's the master carpenter's responsible for setting the door casings for the doors. You don't set the door, you set the door casings. Is what the question was. Who's responsible for setting door casings in residential construction? And the book said that you let the master carpenter do that. There's some JoJo fucking dumbass fucking carpenter will fucking have that shit all crooked. Your door won't shut. You shut it at open, or you try to open it and it fucking wants to fall back shut. And all kind of dumb shit. So that's the only thing I can tell you from that class that I learned. Yeah, my hours got fucked up. For a month and a half, I fucking sat around thinking I was going to learn C2 amps, and I just got led on to dumb shit. So now my hours are fucked up. I can't sleep when I should be sleeping. I hadn't really made a grocery store and get any kind of goddamn food or have any kind of food to eat right. It's in there. I dumped this shit too. I think it was something I was probably trying to save. Fucking I don't need to save none of it. Man, it's gone. I really can't go inside either because I got to stay out here with this fucking fire. Sit on this rug. A big area rug. I had it out here on the fence all summer long. You see the dent where it was laying across the fence? Somebody threw it away, and I brought it out here and laid it out to get it rained on. I swept and scrubbed it once with the water hose and hung it up to dry. I'm not putting that sumbitch in my house. what I'll probably end up doing is where all those are a bunch of Coke cases. The boys at the store had them all stacked out front, and I was like, what are you gonna do? I don't know. He's like, I can't put them in my dumpster, they charge me for plastic. If I take them to the dump, they don't charge me for plastic. So I don't know what the fuck, I'm gonna probably burn them. I said, I'll take them. I was taking them home on a bicycle about 4, 5, 6 at a time on my handlebars. And they've come in handy, man, because there's some Coke cases that you can, these will only stack this way, going long ways. You can't stack them on top of each other, but going long ways. But there are some out there that's got some extra slots, and you can stack 2 side by side, then you can turn the next 2 sideways and stand them side by side like that. So if you use those ones with the slots and some regular ones, you can actually use it and make a staircase where this is the staircase and goes up, and they're all connected together. They don't shift or nothing. I think I got about 6 of those ones with the extra slot. And them guys down at the store, they have gotten a few more, probably about 10 or 12 since then. But they took them around back and throw them on the ground. They're using them to step on where it's muddy, and they got them all smushed down in the ground. Which is what I did around the patio up there on the front porch. I got a couple in the ground. One of them sticks up above the level of the concrete. I got to pull them up, dig it back down, and put them back in there. And the longer they stay, the harder they are to get back out, and the harder they are to set. Because dirt and shit fall down in them. It makes it uneven when you try to pull it up, and you've got to cut it with a shovel at the right depth, so that when you put it back in, it's going to be there and not sink. You don't want to put it back in and it sink. You got to cut it just right where it's going to still stay. If it means cutting it a little higher, so that when you do step on it, it falls into place or sinks into place. See that one spot in the middle of that fire where there's no fire? It already burned up. I must not have much in there. That's where I lit the fire. But it's still got a little bit on this end to come around. That's a big pile right there on that end. I should spread it out. I was being lazy. Running my mouth to y'all. Hey, I'm Hadley Scott. What's up, Hadley? Salute, brother. Hey, Noble. You know, BLE. That's what it's Noble with a backwards E on a 3VST. I'm sorry, y'all. I haven't been looking. I had saw Amber's. She said hello, and I said hi. Amber Sally. Hi, Catmo's up too. Yeah, Amber. I'm so sad. You know, and I wanted to holler at you on Facebook, but I don't get involved in all that business. You know, if I tell you what I think, then and Andy finds out I've been talking to you, that is not going to help that situation, not whatsoever. So I hadn't even, I said hi, Miss Amber, the other day on your Facebook page, because he's on there and you wasn't. So while we was at it, he wasn't telling nothing anyway. They're taking me down. I'm being shadow banned. Oh, 9.66, I'm being took away. He's been there. Look, Andy's been on damn YouTube a long motherfucking, into my book, he's been here a long time. He is fucking well established. You know, and hope, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I'm not going to put up with any more of that crazy mental illness shit either. I'm not going to do it. He sat there and told me I didn't know what I was talking about. Man, fuck that. Shit, I was reading Speaker Grass before he was even born. And when he was 5 years old, I worked at a music store. We sold JBL, James B. Lansing, and Outtake. We were dealers. You don't think I didn't talk to the reps and know all about their literature and speakers? I tell you what, though, man. That's what Andy needs. Somebody needs to break down and get some, as much as he says that goddamn amp costs, the kind of speakers he really needs for that fucking amp. Or he needs some killer badass Altags or some killer badass JBL that will not flop or flap. They got a good curve and everything. That's why they cost so much. And as a matter of fact, if you was to even get in touch with them and talk to them and tell them just they might say, hey, look, we can make that for you. And we might not. What we charge for a speaker, we might can make that for you and still charge you the same fucking thing. You know? Maybe, I don't know. I haven't talked to any reps in years. But I remember when the EMG man came to our store in 1981 and listened to his pitch and took a pickup. All we took was one. He was wanting us, well, he didn't have many to give. But we did take one, put it in, and that pickup sat in that goddamn display case till my guitar teacher stuck it. My guitar teacher was the manager. That guy, well, I knew how to play before I met him. He's the one who started teaching me skills when I was about 17. By the time I was 19, I smoked the fuck out of a guitar. Yeah, the EMG man. Ross even sent me to go get it around. That's when I was a porter, and I used to always go get us lunch. And when that EMG man was there, Ross told me, hey, here, take this money and go get. He asked the man what he wanted to eat. There was a sandwich shop right around the corner downtown. And on their menu, man, they had about 50 different fucking sandwiches. And I always ate a pepperoni, pastrami, or whatever. I used to get a pastrami sandwich or a pepperoni sandwich. And I couldn't tell you what. They had turkey, so all that shit. Chopped beef. I think I used to get roast beef. It's good too. I think them sandwiches were like they weren't a square sandwich. They was like a hot dog, but wider and kind of long, but not real long, not no foot long. Just under 6. And for about $2.50. I think the cheapest one was like that pepperoni. It was one of the cheaper sandwiches. It was probably right at $1.70, right at $2.05 or something like that. And then you start getting the turkeys and the hams and roast beefs. They went on up to $2.75, but there wasn't a sandwich more than $3 and up in there at the time, early 80s. More than fucking $3 sandwich. But they were just the size, like, by the time you ate one, like I can eat. I won't need, really need 2, but one will get you, but if you're really hungry and you want a meal, you're gonna need 2 sandwiches. No matter what. Roast beef, you eat one, you'll be wanting another one. Unless I'm full, then you won't want another one, but. Y'all, I used to have a wild rabbit. He used to come up in here a lot. I have not seen him. I guess something got him. He used to use my yard to get into the neighbors. Sometimes, I even asked the neighbors, I said, you seen the rabbit? And they said, he was over there in them people's yard this morning. He using my yard to get back and forth through. I was leaving my gate open back here to this pasture. A rabbit was using my yard because there'd been many times when I was out there in the evening fucking with my flowers after just about dark, and that fucking rabbit come out of my backyard. And then when he seen me, he got scared. But then there's been a couple times when I come out my back door and he was back here in my backyard, and I always would say something to him. So after a couple of times, I could say something. That rabbit, he didn't act like he's gonna run. Now, if I tried to get close to him, he would take off running. But I could, when he was in my backyard, I could still come out on my patio, and as long as I didn't approach him, he'd just sit over there where he was at and watch me. And I thought it was cool. I told him, I said, you look here, man, you're perfectly welcome to come visit. If you want, I'll make you a house or whatever. You're probably a lot safer in my backyard than you are out there in them woods. But I ain't seen him lately. Then on my way to the store, I used to pass this rabbit in the same spot all the time. And I talked to him. I told him, I said, oh, you don't need to get in the road. Whatever you do, stay out of the road. And, hey, Mr. Rabbit. Come by there next week I go going to the Family Dollar, and by the time I got, hey, Mr. Rabbit, he'd be right there in the ditch. I don't know why that rabbit was there all the time, but here lately, like during the summer, about midsummer, or after it got hot this summer, I didn't see him there no more. He wasn't dead in the road. That's what I was worried about, getting run over, because they get run over up and down that road all the time. And since then, anytime I go by there, I haven't seen it. So it either got. That's what I think. I think it got. A coyote or a wolf got him. Or maybe even a cat. There's big cats out here. I've done seen all 3 types. So, and people say, there ain't no black cat. There ain't no black cat. It's a black puma. It looks black until you get close. It's brindle. But from a distance, that motherfucker looks like a goddamn Black Panther. They got a long, 6 foot long, big old, like 3 foot in diameter tail. That's how I knew it. He kind of looked like a German Shepherd when I first saw him. I was like, oh, somebody's German Shepherd's loose. I better watch out. And the next thing I knew, he turned his head and he didn't have no nose. He was didn't have no long mouth like a dog. And he crossed the road and I saw that big ass long tail. I was like, goddamn. See, my friend had told me, man, I saw a Black Panther in my backyard. And this is a friend he's fucked up in the head. He sees people in the trees, He does now. He sees people in the trees now. But this was years back right after I was retired stage hand. Anyway, I told him, Bill, there ain't no Black Panthers in America. I swear, Scott, I know it's dark in my backyard. I ain't got no light in my backyard, but man, even though he was black, because even though I ain't got no light, when he walked across the yard, I could still see his silhouette, man. That motherfucker, he had a big old long Pink Panther tail, just like Pink Panther. Big old long tail. All right, so he told me this was about early fall when he saw it. Probably this kind of weather right here, where it hadn't got real cold, but it's not hot summer anymore. And guess what? I was roster routing one morning. It was after winter, right before spring, right at the tail end of winter, right at the early spring. One morning, the road he lives on, it's a long road, and you can get to it both sides, both ends of the road. You can go from over here and get on that road, or go from way over here and get on that road. I saw that cat. It's probably about 2.5, 3 miles from his house at the end of winter. He told me about it before and I didn't believe him. But Wild Bill's been that's why they call him Wild Bill. His nickname's Wild. His name is Bill Robbins, but his nickname is Wild Bill because he tells some fucked up, spun up stories. And half that shit you can't believe, but what's fucking ironic about it is when he starts telling some fucked up shit and it's almost impossible to believe, you might want to consider that he is telling the truth. He's just kind of fucked up in the head. Look, he told me when Pantera came to Shreveport after they got signed and they were going to do a concert at the Coliseum, at the Hearst Coliseum at the fairgrounds downtown Shreveport. I didn't go. I probably didn't have no goddamn money. That's why I didn't go. But he told me later, he said, yeah, Scott, there was a riot. They didn't have the show. What it is some stupid promoter had put chairs on the floor. Now, I know better than that. You know? And this is before this is back in the 90s before I was ever staging, I think. But you don't do that. Look, Phil likes to spit on people. He likes to spit. He likes to spit off the stage. He did that shit in the clubs. You know, if you were a fucked up dumbass drunk and causing people problems, as soon as you went to look, Phil spit on you. Everybody's seeing that. I would never, you know what I'm saying? He'd spit on a fucked up drunk in a heartbeat. Well, it's like this. You can't put chairs out in there in front of them guys like that. That motherfucker spit on me or spit on somebody alive, would take that fucking chair up and fucking hit him with it, throw it. And you can't do that at a Pantera concert, man. Stack up chairs out front. You got to leave the floor open. These motherfuckers are going to fucking want to mosh, and especially later day fools. I mean, it's bad enough at the clubs years before when motherfuckers are out there trying to mosh, but later day mosh is even more intense and more younger fools out there being stupid. And there wasn't no room to mosh. It caused a riot. I don't know all the details, but Bill told me this is fucked up, y'all. Bill was outside and the cops were out there. And cops were out there on mounted patrol. And some drunk motherfucker punched one of them fucking horses in the face. Bill was standing right there. He said, Scott, I was standing right there. And this dumbass drunk motherfucker punched that horse in the face as hard as he could hit it. And that horse reared up and that pig fell off and hit the ground. And that horse took off and bucking and kicking. And everybody was around, started screaming and hollering and running, and it was a fucked up incident. That dude that punched that horse went to jail. I read about that part in the paper, how somebody punched a horse and they went to jail. I didn't know the full story. Bill told me later he was standing right there beside it. Wild Bill's crazy. He's crazy. And see, when I was stagehand, I got him on some gigs, man, working as a permit hand. He couldn't work all day, man. He couldn't work a trade show all day. He come about not even 3 or 4 hours in, and Scott, I don't think I'm gonna make it. Bullshit. I said, look, being so in a hurry. It's still early in the morning. You're supposed to drag your ass. If you go to do a task, don't be in no goddamn hurry, stiff and tense. You gotta pace yourself. You ain't gonna wind down if you don't. You're gonna kill yourself on the job, and then you're not gonna wind down. You're gonna fucking want to shoot yourself because you can't wind down at night. But Bill worked a little bit. I don't know if he turned down calls. He was kind of, like I said, he's kind of fucked up in the head, and that's probably why he probably didn't get a whole lot of calls. They only call people like that when they got a big call and they got to meet the contract, and there's 40 union members, they need 80 men. They got to call some people. They got a permit workers list. They call all the permit workers. That's how I got started. I was a permit worker. They call the college kids at the school, at the liberal arts school, that Centenary College, that are in the theater class. That they call that teacher Mr. Hooper, and he'll ask his students, "Any y'all want to work?" And 9 times out of 10, if any of them students all jump up and act enthused, shit, they're gonna pass this class right there. That right there told him. Like he's told me before. He said, "Hadley, I want you to come take my class. I'll talk to the deans. Come take uncredited. Come take my class. Hadley, you already working theory. You already know everything." He said, "Look, I got books." He said, "I tell with all these students that come to my class that the books that you buy, those books are for you to learn all about you took this class. You must want to learn it, right? And these books are so you can learn all you want to out of those books." He said, "But I give lectures like twice a week or whatnot. I'll give a lecture, and then I'll give a lecture review, and then we test Friday, and my tests are on my lectures." He said, "As far as what you do in the theater, you already know how. You already got that, but you already above that in all my students." And then said, "The only way that my students pass is they listen to my lecture and they pass their test. You come listen to my lecture, you can pass my test, and you'll get." Then I see that he said, "I'll talk to the deans, and you go take a English or go take a math or a remedial math." I told him, I said, "My math and English, I never did good in English. I never did good in math. That'd be wasting my time." He said, "But that's just it. We can work in there. He said, "You go through my class, Hadley. I know you can do it. Come on, man, you can do it. You already know this theater stuff. You're good at it. You're the best. Whenever I come in here with the opera, I want Hadley." Anyway, yeah, he was talking about after I pass my class, I can go. He said, "Hey, you pass my class. See, I know you can. And I can go back to the deans and say, 'Look who I got in my class. Look at his grades. This guy come in here, he's already involved and da-da-da-da-da.'" And he said he talked the deans into working with me, and I just never did it. That'd be cool if I could go take what my dad took and pass it in mathematics, physics, and chemistry. Oh, I'd love to get that degree. I'd love to. Just because my dad did it. He was smart at it, smart enough. And he told me, he said, "I wasn't the smartest math motherfucker at school in high school. I had a friend in class who knew math." He said he learned a long time ago not to go ask the teacher. And same way in his other classes too. He had some girls in some of his other classes. Like he had a female teacher, and he made the mistake of asking her one day, and she was just a bitch about it, Karen. He said, "I learned not to ask her. I found, some of the girls I knew that were smart about it. I'd always go ask them from then on. I didn't ask the teacher shit." And my math class, same way. I just go over and ask that guy. He was smart. And the thing about it is all these people that he told me about, the fucking high school wasn't but 2.5 blocks from where they lived, where everybody pretty much lived, in all directions. In a little bitty hick country town. And he said every day after school, all those people that he talked about was just a little group of people that were friends anyway, and they went to any one of them's house after school to do their homework every day. And we were walking to John's house today. Which John? They called my dad Buddy because he ran around with 4 other Johns. So he was Buddy. His name was John too. They'd go out of town football games, and the girls say, "Hey, what's your name, John?" And "What's your name, John?" Y'all bullshitting. You're John. Them out of town football game girls from those high schools, they'd be saying, "Oh, y'all playing games with us. Hey, well, y'all named John." But it would be a whole carload of Johns. Yeah, my dad died when I was 45, man, just mysteriously. And my mom told me, "Oh, you got to get rid of the raccoon, and your dad's coming home, and this, that, and the other." And she lied and fucking lied to me. And fucking next thing I know, I'm at a gig. That's a fucking military band gig where I think it was either Marine band or the Army band, but they were playing everybody's song. And while I was on props, well, I was down below the stage has a pit, but it has an elevator. The pit can be a pit down below, or it can be an elevator go up, and it can be even with the deck and a round footing, a pit-sized footing out at the foot of the stage. And I was down below where all their boxes and everything were, and I helped them load in. So I knew every time a truck opened, my first thing I'll do is I'll go up and look, I'll stand where I can look and see what's in this truck, where's it at, what's way in the back, what's in the front, what's by the back door, it'll be the last thing on, and what's way buried back there, it's gonna be first thing out, So while they were playing, I didn't have nothing to do. I went down, I started arranging Bob. These are these guys, these are on the truck here. I got it all ready to go. Next thing I know, my mom had bought me a cell phone. She gave me a cell phone, a little track phone, because I needed you to be able to call you. That's the only reason why I had a cell phone. And she called me and told me my dad had died at the hospital. And I went and told my business agent when I had a chance to come up there. Oh, you need to go. Go? Why? He's dead. What the fuck am I going to go do? You know? I waited till the gig was over and I got to get, and then I went to the hospital. You know? It ain't like, oh, I got to run real quick to a dead man. What the fuck good is that? And is that going to make him alive again? Why, hell no. They were telling me, oh, you need to leave. I said, hell no. Like my friend's grandmother, when she died, she said, if I die and you working, don't you dare take off from work, come to my funeral. The way times are, see, she grew up during depression. She knew what depression is. And an opportunity, if you find an opportunity to get a job, you need to work as much as you can. My dad used to tell me, son, I'm glad you're working them 712s. Boy, get it while you can. Get it while you can. Make that money, son. You know? And Granny was like that too. When Granny died, her grandson lived in Grand Prairie, Texas. And I was over there in Grand Prairie, Texas, working for that. During the summertime, our union slows down. I was over there working for that local over there in Dallas. I worked a Mary Kay show, worked a fucking gym. What else did I work? Ozfest, Dave Matthews Band, and what was that band? In Sync. I think there was New Kids on the Block was first, and then In Sync came out later. It was those In Sync guys. And I'd worked the In Sync guys at the Miss USA. I was back there one day. They were outside throwing football. I was like, "Hey man, throw it to me." He threw it to me. I threw it back. He go, "Oh yeah, run." He liked how I caught it. He said, "Hey man, let me throw it again. You seem to be able to catch them. Come on." I forgot which guy it was. Remember when I was over in Dallas and we were working and setting it up, and those guys were out there. "Hey man, what's up?" Hey, oh, how you doing? Is what he said. I said, "Hey man, you remember me?" And he kind of looked at me. I said, "Miss USA, me and you was throwing football." And then he goes, "Oh yeah, I remember you now. Damn, dude, I'm sorry." He said, "What are you doing over here?" I said, "Man, you know, over there at Shreveport, our union goes slow in the summer. We got seasons, like the Strand Theater. It has a Broadway season or whatever, and it starts in the fall. And the same thing with the Shreveport Symphony. Their season starts in the fall. And then the Shreveport Metropolitan Ballet, they do a Nutcracker. They may do something small early before the Nutcracker, maybe if they want to, if they decide they're going to do something. And then usually the opera and the Shreveport Metropolitan Ballet and Shreveport Opera, they usually only do about 2 major shows a year. And so the Metropolitan Ballet will do a Nutcracker. Them Russian girls will come. I've worked a couple of them at the Strand Theater. Man, there's one girl, they're like before, like certain times of the show, some of those girls don't have, you got a certain thing, you're not doing nothing. You're not on deck. You're free for the next 10 minutes. And all them Russian girls will be out there on that back alleyway off fucking puffing the fuck away on some damn cigarettes. And I said something to one of them. And one of them asked me for, "Hey, do you have a light?" With her little Russian accent. And yeah, I got a light for you. She approached me and that bitch was hitting up. Like a fucking whore wanting, you know. I mean, I read her like an open book. And I asked her, I said, "Look, y'all ballet, what are you doing smoking so much?" She said, "These American Marlboros, we don't get them in Russia." We don't get the American Marlboros in Russia. Oh, damn it, I put y'all in the blank by setting that camera down. Oh, shit. Look, it went out over here, y'all. I don't know why. That's some bullshit. But that end down there is still burning. I'll go get a shovel. I need to go get the shovel and scoop some of that shit up and come back and put it back over here and get it going. I hope next year that I get off my professional procrastinating ass and get some watermelons growing and some cantaloupe. And see, besides that, this is just for the watermelon cantaloupe for along back here. This is full sun. It's the hottest part of this whole fucking yard is this back fence. In the middle of summer, all along back here. It'll turn the grass dead. It gets so fucking hot and dry. But I got squash seed, a bunch of fucking squash seed that I bought, and a bunch of zucchini. And man, there ain't nothing better than slicing up squash and zucchini and boiling it and pouring water off and putting some butter on it and whatever, a little bit of oil and whatever, make I guess they call it zucchini squash salad. I ate some boiled over at a friend of mine's house in Miss Emily, Stevie Ray's mama. She had cooked and invited me over, and she served me some. I was like, man, can I have some more? Yeah, but this is the tail end of it. I thought I was going to have to throw it out. You ain't going to have to throw it out, Emily. It was good, man. As soon as I started chewing and swallowed that squash and that zucchini, I could feel I could taste it, the vitamins, the nutrition, and I could feel the nutrition. I was like, oh my God. It was like a fucking drug, and like another good drug. And I was right there convinced me, man, that I'm gonna grow me some zucchini. And as good as it is, I talked to my neighbor. He said, Hadley, 4 okras. You'll be giving okra away to the neighbor. I said, well, good. Thanks for the advice. I'll go buy some okra seed too. I'm gonna grow okra too. I'm gonna give him. He likes okra. I like okra. I'll have plenty. I've been talking to the artificial ignorance and about tomatoes, and I may grow some tomatoes too, just to have some to give to somebody. It's not that I eat them. Oh, well, if I grow a tomato, you believe me, Hadley, I'll make a tomato sandwich. I had to quit the tomatoes. They make me my fucking, like fibromyalgia. I fucking hurt all over. And I found out that the tomatoes have an acid in it. See, after you get a certain age, you get these things in your joints. And it don't flare up until it's activated. And there's something acid or whatnot in the tomato that'll activate those fucking shit in your joints and makes you hurt like arthritis. So I've been avoiding, like I had kind of quit soda pops about 2016, and I started quit eating pizza about 2018. I've eaten pizza since then, but not like I did all my life. And Cokes, I don't drink Cokes now like I did all my life. So, like tonight, I was wanting to go get a Coke. The reason why I don't have one and haven't gone and got one, because it has something to do with, let me think, carbonic acid is what it is that's in the Coke. Carbonic acid, and it prevents a protein separation in a certain part of your intestines, and it makes it where you will not absorb nutrition like you're supposed to. And the more of it you drink, the more it does it. So I was like, I had to kind of quit, man. I didn't want to fucking you're secretly, silently, covertly killing yourself, little do you know. But man, the way they redid the Coke is his original flavor. Man, the Coke finally does taste good again, man. And I like it. I've always liked it. You could take any cola out there, but it's a Coke that when you open it, as soon as you pour it over ice, you taste it. It's got a certain type of taste. There's something about that Coke when it goes over ice, it's magic. Now after it's set a bit, the magic goes away. You can't taste it no more. And other colas, no matter what, when you pour it, don't do that when you pour it over ice. It don't have a sweeter flavor as soon as it's gone over ice. And every now and then I make the mistake. Pepsi's not the same. Neither is RC. Not like they were way back all the way to the 60s. They were real Cokes back in the 60s. Everything was real. Now it's us, what can we do to fucking substitute and save a dime? And still leave our name on it. That's the biggest fraud there ever was. Like Hostess. Fucking Hostess. It ain't what it was, man. Oh, man, come over here. Get something, man. I see you, man. Okay, I didn't know what the fuck was touching me. Hey, come over and lay down by my side over on the other side. Kick it. Yeah, Hostess, man. They closed down. They went bankrupt. And then I think Dolly Madison or whoever bought them. And Dolly Madison didn't keep the Hostess tradition. They fucking threw their Dolly Madison generic shit fuck recipe in there. Because when I go buy Hostess, it does not taste like it used to. And it's fucking terrible. They're anything chocolate like their cupcakes. It don't even taste like chocolate. That's bullshit. Tastes like the rest of the generic shit that was on the shelf next to Hostess to begin with. Even the Twinkies or their honey buns or their apple pie, none of it tastes as good as it used. Same way with Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts is a pile of shit that is nothing like it was when I was 4 or 5 years old. A Pop-Tart was like you ever had grandma make you apple pie with flaky crust? And the crust tastes good and it's all flaky?
and brown. That's what Pop-Tarts used to be like. And Toastums too. Toastums used to taste a flaky crust. That shit nowadays is like fucking dried fucking goddamn stucco. Or something. Fucking wallpaper glue that's been dried up and they want you to heat it and eat it. It don't even have a good flavor, let alone a right kind of, it's like, I don't know, like putty. I'm going to bake this putty with no flavor, and we're going to call it a Pop-Tart and get your money, but you ain't going to get what's fucking for real. Ain't that something else, man? And any of y'all that are young, you go eat a Pop-Tart, they taste okay to me. You ain't never tasted a real one. I hate to say it. Wow, now I thought that was a fucking falling star. It was some kind of big ass something. Where did it come? Did y'all see that on the edge of the camera? Man, it didn't fall out of that tree. It fell out of the sky between that tree and this tree. And you see the way the wind's blowing? Well, it didn't fall out of this tree because the wind's blowing in the wind would not have blown it that way. The wind would have not have blown it. It fell out of the sky right out of the corner of my eye was when I looked, and by the time I looked, it hit the ground. What hit the ground looked like it might have been a leaf, but it fell fast. And when I caught it out of my eye and I looked, it looked like it was glowing like a falling star. But I swear it fell right here in this pasture, man, but it didn't make no noise. But it fell fast. A leaf don't fall that fast. And it didn't fall out of that tree right there. And it didn't fall out of that tree. It fell out of the sky between that. It can't be no falling star. Because it would catch that fucking grass on fire out there if it was. I sure saw it, man. That's why I said, wow, what the fuck? I thought it was way up in the sky, and I noticed it hit the grass out there. Between here and that tree. That big tree right there. Out there in the pasture. Look at all that, man. That's a fire hazard way. All that shit's all dried out. That whole pasture. And they cut it down. It's all dead, laying there dry. If that fire had got across the fence, oh, fuck. I'd be doing good calling the fire department. They're right down the road, and I'd be doing good calling them to get here. I'd have to tell them, y'all going to have to go to the end of the road, turn left, and drive up the access way to put that fire out, and you'll come in my yard and get it. You'd have to drive all the way down, and they can drive all the way. There's a fence right there, a gate to get in the water department, and this is the access right away right here. Get off there. This is the access right away right behind this fence. Let me walk back here. Here's my homemade park hands. I made them years. Sid was alive. I made these before I got out of stagehand, and I didn't know where to keep them. I've been coming by now. They're all rusted. I had them all painted black. Where's this fence? All right. I see. There it is. See how that lock is on that chain? I cut the chain, and I had the link. I lost the link. Link's down there on the ground. I had to get my metal detector to find it. And I had it dummy locked. Because I used to need to have to go back here, get my goddamn dog or my cat. And so I just dummy locked it. And one day I fucking going through here. I was also going out here getting leaves. We're going to use my mower and backing up, cutting shit, and getting leaves. The link fell off my dummy lock. Everybody that's had to go through here, they just put it right back. So you can see where somebody drove through here. They were in here today. There was a backhoe and a big ass truck back there. Oh, I just walked over a big mound. Yeah, whatever fell right out here. It wasn't no whirlpool. If it had been a falling star, it'd be a fire. What the fuck is that lighting? Y'all see that lighting down there? Oh, we're seeing all the way down the High Line to that other neighborhood. And that lighting is in the back of their backyard back there. Hey, don't look that far from here, but man, I think those are big landscape lights, regular landscape lights. And there's a bunch of them in a row, right at their back fence. Damn, just looking from standing here and seeing those lights, it don't look like that house is that far away. But I know how far it is. When you get around there, right down there is where you start on that Highline Trail. It's a road that runs through at the end of this pasture. There's some trailers over there. There's 2 trailers. See how it's not lit? Nobody's there.
Them trailers are back there. I don't know. There's some light right through there. That's that one trailer. There may be an interior light on. I don't think nobody lives back there. I go in here and hit me some milk, man. I fucking feel upset at my stomach. God damn, it's sick feeling. Jackie, quit scratching, man. We can do this. I might get lucky and get it to go again. Give it a run down the way. Yeah, usually I'll sit in the fucking living room, and maybe if there's something on TV, I stay on the fucking YouTube, man. But I'll be up in there and have my head in fucking YouTube, and I'll just sit there. It'll just give me I'll start getting fucking headache, and then goddamn get sick at my guts. And I don't eat right. I don't eat at all. Or I fast more than I goddamn eat. That's why I feel sick. And I'm doing better out here fucking off out here all night long on this phone like this than I am sitting in there. You know? I mean, if I was sitting in there, I'd be watching something. Who knows? There may be a good deal. Triple X came on both episodes last night. I was so fucking enthused and thrilled. Every time I always see when you work the movies, if you've worked on some movies, and in the theater, it steals innocence because you don't know anything about that shit until you do it. And then once you work it, well, since I've worked movies before, and when I watch it, I look at movies in a different way. I know what first unit and second unit is, so I can tell, oh, that's a good second unit. I'm thrilled when I see it, and go, okay, they did good, you know, I know what it is. And then set dressers, well, I know what set dressers are. Oh, man, I like how they, and the people that write it, I always call it the writ. Well, that Triple X, whoever did all the writ on that's fucking cool, because he had some lines here and there. It's like, next time you need somebody to save the world, make sure they like it the way it is. I like that line. I was fucking terrible. That just rolls with it right there. He told their fucking ass. I said, look here, I know you don't like me here. I fucking sure as hell don't want to goddamn be here either. So shut the fuck up and leave me alone. I'm fixing to go to sleep. That was a good one too. I was laughing. I said, I wonder who come up with that. And that Triple X with the IC. He's a good. I like him. He works. That goddamn IC. Shay is a worker. When I worked one movie, his son was there. His son was there, and Ray Charles' daughter. We went to lunch, and she was walking. Where we went to lunch, we were working. They served us lunch in some buildings a couple blocks over, so we had to walk over where they served. Some building they rented to cater. And while I was walking over there, Ray Charles' daughter was walking. My boss had already told me. He goes, "Look, that's Ray Charles' daughter." I said, "Damn." And I was going to lunch and she was going to lunch, she was kind of by herself. We're in downtown Shreveport, you know. So I walked up, I said, hey. And she looked and I said, I'm a stagehand working on the game. I said, look, a couple years ago, I said, my boss told me that you're Ray Charles' daughter. She said, yes, I am. I said, girl, guess what? I worked with your daddy a couple years back. I met your daddy. I spent the whole damn day on stage right beside him talking to him. Your daddy's an awesome man. You know, and he had already passed. It was about a year and a half, and then he died. I was lucky. And, you know, as a kid, who do you take? Hadley, you gonna grow up work with Ray Charles? And the bullshit I told you is crazy. I said you was crazy. And Mom and Dad had Ray Charles records in the living room, man. Who'd have ever thought I ain't gonna meet the man? Look, he asked me, how'd I look, Hadley? I said, you look clean cut. How they got me looking? I said, he said, how old do you think I am? And I told him, I said, 48? Oh, he looked at me all funny. Come on, man, don't be fucking with me. Don't be playing with me. I said, okay, 54. Hadley, I'm 84 years old. I said, Ray, you don't look like, well, how do I look? He said, I know they cut my hair. I said, is it gray? I said, no, they got it dyed. It's black. I said, Ray, I was born in 63. Now, all around that time, them records you had, I've seen pictures and photographs and album covers. I said, they got you looking exactly
like you did on them records when I was born. You look just like it. You don't look 84. Yeah. He was, man, he talk about a awesome, well, all my life I ain't seen any musician worth his salt. Got some kind of bass. That's what he told me. He asked me, he said, you do drugs? And I was honest with him. I said, I smoke pot. You don't drink? I said, well, I will at Christmas or Thanksgiving. You don't shoot heroin, huh? I said, no, I don't do all them hard drugs. I don't want to be an addict. Oh, well, like I tell them, just enough to keep me alive, not enough to kill me. Yeah, he's talking about all my life I ain't seen, but any musician worth his salt got some kind of bass. Yeah, alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, heroin, little boys. I laughed my ass off. This motherfucker, goddamn. He really amazed me, man, because they were like, it's a sound check the whole time. They told me, hey, sit out here by Ray so he can talk to you. So the whole sound check. It's just me and my business agent set that whole gig up. We went in there a day ahead of time. We stripped what we didn't needed. I climbed up to load rail and loaded weights while he climbed up and did flies. And then we'd climb back down and do what we had to do. Then I climbed back up to the load rail and do weights while I climbed up to the weight rail, load rail, and he climbed up to the damn flies. And we'd do what we had to do. We finally had all that shit took care of. And then we had our drum risers and choir risers and keyboard risers, and we set all that shit up. And then we blacked it all out. And we had already done all the lighting. We pretty much just did a basic focus for the stage. Everything's already running back there to the lighting board at the front of the house. Their lighting guy came in, and Bill went over and said, okay, here's all your floods. Here's your this special for this, that, and the other, your center stage special, your off-center specials, your stage right special, your stage left specials, your downstage specials, your upstage. They showed him where it was all at. The dude, okay, cool, he could run it. We had it already focused for him and everything. And I ran the spotlight during the show. And it was just me and Bill. Well, the audio guy, one of our audio hands, Mr. Rod Matthews, he worked for PBS. He was a broadcast engineer. He ran the stage. The monitor was all on stage. Even the front of house sound was that monitor, that board on stage, Mr. Rod. And so one of the three of us that ran that gig. At the time, the casino was renting a theater from the city. And so that was a casino. Ray Charles come through there on a casino gig. Well, there were quite a few that year. The casino did quite a few. I'm trying to think who else. Seems like one time we did a Susan Anton Christmas special where she came in, and Susan Anton, former cheerleader, she sang Christmas songs and talked to the audience and stuff, and I ran the spot on that. Look, I left the theater that night. I've been staring down the spotlight all night long, and I left the theater, man. I was about right out of downtown, a block or two over in the South Highlands on Stoner Avenue of all the places. The fucking cops got behind me, man, and turned their lights on, and shit, I had a joint going and put the joint out, put it in my bag, rolled it real fast, stuck it down my dick, and everyone kept driving down the road. He acted like he was going to try to pull around, or act like he was going to pull up and try to pit me. I wasn't even going fast. I was looking for a place to pull on. We finally come up to Domino's Pizza, and they were open with lights on. I whipped up in that part. He asked me, why did you pull over? I said, pull over where? In the dark? I said, I was looking for a business that's lit up and off the road. This ain't safe enough. I didn't feel safe anywhere else, but when I saw this Domino's lit up and open, people in it, I feel safe here. Well, Mr. McIntyre, the reason why he pulled you over, you're going down the road, you don't have your headlights on. I didn't know I didn't have my headlights on. I could see fine. I was looking down a bright-ass light all night. What do you think I can see now? I had bright lights on my, now I don't. I can fucking see. I had a glare in my eyes all night long. Now I don't. And I told him, he said, where you been? I said, I've been looking down a spotlight all night long, Susan Anton Christmas special at Riverview Theater. Hey, you can go, Mr. McIntyre. I showed him my Union card. You can go, Mr. McIntyre. He let me go with a warning or whatever.
I told him, I said, man, I didn't even know my lights were off. I can see fine. I said, it was true. It fucking freaked me out. I didn't know I had my lights on. I was like, oh shit. We're going to get locked up. I mean, we was illegal. It's decriminalized now up to a half ounce. You pay a $50 fine if they catch you. They don't take you to jail. Back then, oh, you're going to jail. And you might not fucking goddamn be up before a judge in 2 or 3 weeks. Shit. Be locked up in that motherfucker forever. You're so goddamn behind. And then you know why? Or they busy locking motherfuckers that ain't goddamn out criming and getting in the way, clogging the goddamn courts up. When the real motherfuckers out there criming are being in the clog and not getting done nothing about. I'm glad I never lived a life of crime, lived that way. I cared not to, motherfuckers. Of course, cops, man, anywhere. Most time when cops go anywhere, man, they look at people, they look at everybody like they're criminals. I'm out to get them. If you ever think about it. Oops. Oh, see, I can't see good anyway, y'all. I'm not looking at the phone hardly. I'm just fucking looking and talking. You know, to sit there and read, I gotta sit there and try to focus and read that shit. So that's why I'm not reading it and answering anybody saying something to me. If there is anybody saying something to me. You know, there are some venues out in town. There's a place in Bossier where the city made it a open container district, kind of like New Orleans. There's a little area downtown in Bossier that you can actually have your drink within a certain here to there. You know, this stop sign down to that stop sign, and behind this club, and there's a little collection of clubs in that area. Art District, I think is what it's called, or something. But this one little collection of clubs is like, I think one place is they make beer. And then I never went up in them. I was out back where the stage was. There's a stage out back. And that's pretty, it's not too small. It's got flies. That PA's flown. There's nothing big flown. When I got there, the first time Matt took me there and I saw what was flown in there, I said, you see how those are little bitty speakers up there with a wedge all flown up, and see how right where they're sitting? I said, you don't need no more than that. They knew exactly what they were fucking doing. Their speakers they probably wasn't 4 foot long, and maybe had a 12, and they're wedge shaped, arrayed where they form a arc, and then they're one set on one side and one set on the other side, and they're on chains, and the overhead's rigging, you know, outdoor stage. They were probably flown up in the air. It's probably like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all laying horizontal on top of each other like wedges, and then the arcs and a little curve. They're probably 6 on each side. They went 4 foot wide, maybe a whole foot thick each one. And the band had already quit. When he took me up there the night, there was some kind of I think it was a Guns N' Roses copy band, tribute band or something. They had already played and it was over with. I think they started about 6 or 7, and then by 10:30 they were over with. And we didn't get there till about 11. But yeah, that place is cool. I told Matt when I walked up kind of close to look at that PA, and I told Matt, I said, you see how they got those speakers flying in the air right there? I said, Matt, they know exactly what the fuck, you don't need no more. I said, there may be some bass bins. There were some bass bins down on the deck or down below the deck or whatever that you had some bass whoopers, maybe a sub bins, but it was a very small flown system. And I knew right then by looking at how everything was, and I had my experience, you don't need no big ass PA. They had smaller PA than a lot of times before I was ever stagehand seen in clubs. I've seen shit in clubs. The Pantera used to bring some shit, and It didn't take long. They would come with their guys, and I'd go down there and help them. And when I helped, they got set up and got to go back to their hotel a whole lot quicker. That's basically where I learned how to focus lights. I was already an electrician, but I had never had experience. I've had lights, I've hung lights. I never even knew that. That's what you call a focus, when you point the light where you want it at. And so when I became a stagehand, I was already an electrician, and I had experience. That's what made me so good. I did have some experience. That's why my friend Greg, I can't think of nobody else I know that might be able to do a good job. Please come. They're bugging me. They need some extra people. I worked this one gig at the theater. It was like a Broadway show, musical comedy. It was like a Nazi, like a Mel Blanc or something like that, whatever, whoever that fucking comedian, Mel whoever, I can't remember the name. And it was a Nazi parody. And a lot of Nazi people dancing, singing, and making fun, and then the good guys are sneaking around, the Nazis were the bad guys. And I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the show because I was kind of busy during the show, but Hugh Laurie was on that show. And during the day while we were setting it up, and we were pretty much finished, towards the evening before we went to supper, I asked my road guy, I'd been helping him, I said, hey man, what we got next? He goes, no, Hadley, we're finished for right now. We got a show coming up. We're good till the show, man. Y'all are supposed to go eat supper pretty soon. I said, yeah, we're going to go at 5:30. We got to be back at 7, I think. Hour and a half in the evening. And I asked him, I said, hey man, you ever meet anybody? How many years, I got to talk to him. Where you from? How long you been doing this? I asked him if he ever met anybody. He goes, what do you mean? I was like, you ever met anybody that's famous? He goes, hey man, we got somebody on our show right now. You want to meet him? They took me, it was Hugh Laurie. He had they called him on the road the day before I met. The day I met him, he had just got his phone call the day before that he passed the audition on Dr. House. And he was telling me, yeah, he just got a phone call. He needs to pay the bills. He was on this show, but he just got his phone call. He'd done an audition. I said, what did he get? What's he going to do? A doctor show. Well, nobody knew what Dr. House was until you watched it. It wasn't on yet. So I asked him, is that like Marcus Welby? He said, who's Mark? I said, it's a TV show about a doctor. Then what's another one? A Dr. Kildare or whatever. It used to be one a long time ago before I was born, or when I was a baby, or when I was an infant. There was a doctor show like that. I forgot what that was called. Dr. Kildare or something. I can't remember what it's called. Before my time. I was asking, is that like Dr. Will? He's like, well, they couldn't explain it. But after I watched House myself, I liked that show. He was a contentious bastard. He was also an addict, and his character was an addict. He suffered from addiction, from an injury. It was fucking him up. Started fucking him up at home and fucking him up on the job. Oh damn, I covered everybody's picture up. Welcome to the dark. Hey, look, it lit. Didn't it? Damn, the wind's picking up. But fire hazard. Well, the cat and the dog's still over here hanging out. Cat sleep. Cat sleep. Cat sleep. Yeah, doctor said I was paranoid schizophrenic, and I don't have none of those symptoms. I studied mental illness. I've got the symptoms of a severe anxiety disorder. You know, I know damn good and well that's the only mental illness I got. What them doctors said ain't true. I think they said that just so I get a check. That's what it is. I think that's why. And so they could get paid too. Oh, he's this, that, and the other. I proved it. No. Gives all the symptoms of being paranoid. I go back here. I've known this girl, like I'm Becky, that girl I know that lives back here in the neighborhood. I've been knowing her since she's 16, or since I was 18. No, since I was 16. I think that girl was 10. And she used to skate at the skating rink when I was in junior high. I used to see her at the skating rink. And then me and Rodney would ride around when we were 14, 15, 16. I ran around with Rodney for 4 or 5 years. He was my running partner. And whenever we'd go back through the neighborhood back here, riding around, he would always fucking, Becky and her sister would be walking down the road. He'd come flying down the road and he'd let off the gas or something. And then come up right behind them and slam on the brakes. They wouldn't know anybody was behind them until they